Yes, that is the title I'm going with. Dwayne "The Rock the Tooth Fairy" Johnson. He is in movies. Are they great movies? Most of the time, no, not really. Are they memorable movies? I mean, I'd say so. Like you remember they exist. That's gotta count for something. The Rock has saved franchise.
She triggers her blooms over wind attribute. That's right. That's right. I didn't mention it yet. Wind attribute is coming in season 3, possibly even in 2.8, and it's going to change the game. Wind is not fully implemented in this version of the pre-release, but it will be soon. So look out for a wind video when those mechanics are actually implemented, and we can publicize them. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna try to do more Zenless content. More Genshin content is coming. Did you know most of you watching are not currently subscribed? You should subscribe. Yeah, that's kind of what her gameplay is like. It's true. I have to admit, the allegations are true. It's true. Promea is not beating the versus Evelyn allegation. She actually uses Evelyn's resource bar as a placeholder currently. Doesn't fit super well, but it's funny. It's very funny. She's not clearing the allegations. Where is my chain attack set? Oh yeah. What do you do? Where is my chain attack set? Where is it? I give up. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna get potential unlock first. Speaking of hope related to Evelyn and potential unlocks, I want to quickly talk about teams. My hope is alive. Now, let me start with the most recommendable teams, okay? Nangong Yuzuha, Nangong Suna, Nangong Nicole, Lycon Yuzuha, Lycon Nicole. Now, let's get cooking. Because she wants a stun DPS, she can disorder. She's a stun DPS, she can disorder. There's a chance Bernice Leiter is actually a good team. Let me cope. Let me cope. Let him cope. Finally. It was promised to me 3,000 years ago. Bernice Leiter, Ice Anomaly Fire team. Please. Please. Problem with this team, a lot of the anomaly bosses are fire resistant, but it might be fun. You could also play Nangong Bernice. You could play Yuzuha Vivian. And you'll definitely be playing her with wind characters when they're implemented. If they aren't in 2.8, if Billy is not wind, it'll be in 3.0. What makes Promea kind of really special is she's very free-to-play friendly. I say that with a lot of asterisks. This is Zenless. But she has a standard S-rank engine, which is the Fusion compiler. Kind of huge, because she spams EX special. She's got synergy with Fusion compiler, which makes Fusion compiler an incredibly good engine. Like really good. Like really good. Her S-rank engine is 30% anomaly bonus, 30% AM, 35 ice damage bonus. The anomaly percent requires ice EX special damage. And I should mention her additional ability is a 20% stun duration extension. This is not a flat plus 3 seconds. Why is that important? One, it should, well, it's based on the base, so it's not going to use a boosted value, but it should stack with Nangong and Lighter stun extension. So 12-second base, 20% nice. Plus 20% of that, plus 3 seconds. Not plus 20% at the end, but it'll stack, unlike a lot of other stuff. This is also important to mention that the anomaly bosses for the Idols team have had a 15-second stun duration base instead of the normal 12-second stun duration base. So the 20% is actually getting you extra stun value. or extra stun time than a flat plus 3 seconds. So that's really cool. Yeah. And wow, that's kind of it. Let's talk about better design.
So good.
Finally, Gunnar characters in my ZZZ. People are very quick to call Promia Gunnar bait. It's not necessarily fair. She is Krampus faction. Krampus are all inspired by performers, or circus acts. She's an escape artist. She's got silk dancer animation. She's very into bondage. Because she's an escape artist. She's kinky. She's very kinky, okay? Let's not beat around the bush here. She's very kinky. I'm fine with it. I've seen people be critical. Get the fuck up. Let's have fun. Let's have fun with this one. You don't have to pull her.
We have some early information on Wind. Yes, Wind is coming back to the game. There's just way too much proof that it is coming back now. So yes, today we are going to talk about Wind. I just want to let you guys know that all this stuff about Wind is early information, and that means a lot of things can change. So do not take this video as a final fact, as so many things about Wind and the element in general can change. And throughout this video, you actually hear me say many times, like, I hope things can change, because there was a few things I just didn't agree with, just hearing it at face value. But hey, again, it's early information, and hell, maybe in the future I'll have a change of heart and I do actually like it. But again, things are subject to change, and today is just a real TLDR to get into it. If you guys know Jay Stern, I remember on his stream yesterday that he was going to put out a video sometime soon talking about Wind as well, so you can also check him out too. But other than that, let's get right into the video.
Leave it to me.
Your host today.
Not gonna lie, this is the second time we're doing this, second day that we're recording this just short introduction to Wind on stream. I was very kind of like disappointed with the Wind video that we recorded on stream yesterday. Now that we have way more information on Wind, I feel a lot better about this video, and it'll be nowhere near as slow and repetitive as it was yesterday. So I'm on Penguin's account, so I can actually show some of the anomaly characters, because I'm missing a few of them. Wait. Oh my god. Yo, I was about to like pull up a video real quick from yesterday, but that is so funny. Yo, someone just told me the 2.8 boss disables the blooms too. Oh, they just said fuck Vivian. It just kills Vivian. Oh my god, that's Arya too, right? Wait, that's Arya too, right? Oh dear god.
Oh dear god.
Nah, no way, they'll change that, right? No way, they're gonna change that, right? All right, anyways, let's start talking about Wind. So for people who don't know, Wind is coming. Wind,
We can go out.
people are very skeptical on it for the past 2 days, but now that we have a lot more information, a lot more data mines, a lot more people who have actually seen it in game, like for other things, especially because the new boss is Wind Week in 2.8, Wind is real. Right, there's just way too much evidence. Wind is coming, Wind is real. Which means that S-Ring Billy, he could be Wind. I'm going to lean towards him not being Wind, but it's not a 0% chance that S-Ring Billy could be Wind. It's not a 0% chance, but I'm going to lean towards him not being Wind, and the first Wind agent will come out in 3.0. That's what I'm going to lean towards. But again, just like I showed yesterday on stream, for people who don't know, Wind is nothing new. Wind was in the game in the betas. We had one Wind character, Sokaku. Sokaku was a Wind character. This is early beta footage. They changed Sokaku to Ice before the game came out. And before the game came out, they replaced Wind with Ether. Nicole did not used to be an Ether agent. Nicole used to be a physical agent. But when they made Ether, because they were making Jian, I guess they realized, like, shit, Jian needs a support. Let's change Nicole to Ether. So that's what happened, right? But Wind is nothing new. They already had a baseline of Wind in the game before the game came out in the betas. So it's not like this brand new thing. But now that Wind is coming back to the game, though, TLDR, if you've played Genshin before, it's very similar to how VV works in Genshin Impact. If you
Hey.
played Genshin before. If you haven't played Genshin Impact before, TLDR for you is Wind is going to be a more supportive element than other elements are right now. It's going to be a very, very big supportive element. Doesn't mean they can't make a Wind DPS, they absolutely can, but it is going to be like at a base more of a supportive element. Now, one big thing about Wind at the current moment that a lot of people don't like, and to be fair, I can't blame them. I'm on Penguin's account. He always lets me borrow his account. Miyabi, fan favorite character, right? Miyabi, obviously, a lot of people's favorite character. Miyabi, quite literally, does not work without disorder. Miyabi is terrible without disorder. Try playing Miyabi today in the endgame, M0 Miyabi in the endgame today, without a team that triggers disorder consistently. Fucking horrible experience. She quite literally is not a character without disorder, right? She needs it. Well, at the current moment, the way Wind works, again, this is not final. This is just for now. They can change. I'm not saying this is final, so don't go around spreading like this is final and it's never gonna change. But at the current moment, unless they change something, Miyabi cannot work with Wind because Miyabi needs disorder. And you know what Wind does at the current moment? It fucking disables disorder. No, I am not doom posting. Again, I literally just said that this is not final. Like, they could change it, right? I'm not doom posting. I'm just letting you guys know what Wind does right now. So Wind Turbulence replaces disorder, meaning disorder does not proc when there is Wind, which means that if they do not change how Wind works right now, you just can't play Wind with Miyabi, which is wild. So I'm hoping that they change it, because like it's kind of unnecessary. Now Nangong just is coming out very soon. At the time of recording, like it's gonna be like 2 or 3 days till Nangong comes out. And if you don't know yet, then Nangong is a very good character for Miyabi. That's very nice, right? Miyabi is gonna get a buff with Nangong. Miyabi's getting stronger with Nangong, but it's kind of fucked up that anomaly characters like Miyabi, like Yanagi, does Penguins not have Yanagi? Oh damn. Like Yanagi, like Miyabi. Who's another character that relies on disorders very heavily? Jane, no. Jane actually is okay if there's no disorder. It doesn't fuck Jane too bad. Alice to a degree, yeah, Alice. But like, I think that's kind of fucked up that a new element's gonna come out, and unless they change something, yeah, a little bit of Bernice. Yeah, but I think it's kind of fucked up. A new element's coming out, and unless they change something, some characters just they just don't get to play with new supports. If Wind was to come out tomorrow with a new Wind support and it still functions the way it does right now, you cannot play that new Wind support with Miyabi no matter what. Even if that new Wind support is like cracked, even if it's like the best support in the entire game, for the simple fact that that support is Wind, you cannot play her with Miyabi. So hopefully they change something. Hopefully it's not like a final thing. Again, like there's a lot of weeks from now until the potential first Wind character, so anything can change, right? But I think that's kind of fucked up if it comes out like that, because we all know that when Wind comes out, they're gonna shill the fuck out of it. You and me both know, chat, that the moment Wind comes out, they're going to shill the fuck out of it. I'm actually even
Huh? Do you have a secret you want to share?
So I'm not a Miyabi player. I don't even have Miyabi on my personal account. I don't want people who like a character like Miyabi, who like a character like Yanagi, to be completely locked out of an entire new element. I really, really hope that they change that, because I think that's really fucked up. If that's the case, I think that's really fucked up. Because Premia, we got some stuff on Premia that we looked at yesterday, but I'll go ahead and show it again. Okay, here. So we already got a lot of information on Premia, and we know that Premia can work with Wind. You don't have to have Wind for Premia to work, but she does work with Wind, and it does seem like she would be better off potentially with the new Wind character. But you don't have to have Wind for Premia to work, which is a good thing. Which is another reason why I don't think Billy has to be a Wind character, because Premia doesn't need a Wind to work. It just seems like she prefers a Wind, so they could wait till 3.0 for the new Wind character, is what I'm assuming. For the simple fact, so like people were like, earlier in chat, someone was like, people are already talking about like Miyabi being power crept by Premia. Look here, for one thing, we don't know Premia's final numbers. Secondly, dude, it's just way too early to even have that talk. Let's be real. But I will say, if they do not change how Wind works, Premia will be better than Miyabi, for the simple fact that Premia can use Wind and Miyabi can't, if they do not change how Wind works. For that simple fact alone, when there is wind shield, Premia will be better than her. Just because she can use the new shield and Miyabi won't be able to. So that's another reason why, like, I kind of hope like they change it. Because it will literally be a wind check. It's interesting. But even though wind is gonna be like heavily shield, I do think it can be like a very fun introduction to the game. It could be something fresh, right? Like, as if the devs figure out how to balance wind appropriately, then it could be a very, very, very fun introduction to the game. But there is also the chance that they don't balance wind right, and wind becomes like a thing that you get heavily punished for not having, which is also a possibility to get more people to pull for wind. And then wind is not just going to be an anomaly thing. From what wind is looking to be, like, it's just going to be a good supporting element regardless, which means it would also be good for attack teams too. Expect a wind support very early into 3.x chat. Expect a wind support, a limited wind support. Expect them in 3.0 or 3.1. Like, expect a wind support very, very early into 3.x. It'll either be 3.0 or 3.1. Like, 100% expect a very, very broken wind support coming very soon. Because it seems like wind's gonna be able to just be able to support every single DPS type no matter what. Yeah, I'm expecting the... What's her name? Is it pronounced Remiel, chat? Is that how you pronounce it? Is it pronounced Remiel? Yeah, I'm expecting her to be wind. She's like 100% gonna be wind, bro. I would be shocked if she's not wind. Yeah, she even has the wings. Look, man, I'm excited for wind, bro. Because I thought wind would always have been cool in ZZZ. And the fact that it's coming back is I'm very happy about, right? I'm very happy about that. I just hope they do it the right way, man. Like, I just hope they do it the right way. I hope it's, I hope it adds to the game rather than feel like taking away. Because if wind comes out, man, and you feel like most of the players feel punished for not having it, that's just, dude, no, I don't think you should do a new element introduction like that, bro. Like, you should make wind a fun thing on its own, but not make people feel like shit for not having it. So I do think they could absolutely cook with wind and make it like a really, really, really cool supportive element. They could even make really sick DPS with wind, right? But man, like, as excited as I am for it, I'm just hoping that they don't go the route of, if you don't have wind, you're cooked. I really don't hope they go that route. What do you mean with coming back? Yeah, Uzi. Yeah, I've said it many times. One more time. Sokaku was a wind agent. She was a wind agent before the game came out. And then they changed her right before the game came out to an ice agent. And then they replaced wind with ether. So wind is not new. Wind used to be in the game. And they're just bringing it back. They're just gonna bring it back now. Yo, how cope do you, Chad, how cope do you think it is? We've already talked about it before, but like, I think they could make an S-rank Sokaku one day, bro. I don't think it's like a high chance. I think it's possible though, because of the whole Oni story, the Oni lore. Like, they could easily make like a Sokaku that's like more experienced, more grown up, and she gets her wind element back. Because the Oni ore, oh my god, I said Oni ore, oh my god. The Oni lore is actually pretty interesting. I don't think it's a high chance. I don't think it's impossible though. I don't think it's a high chance. But maybe she can get her wind element back. Her and Nagi and Sokaku's sisters are the only characters that can bring us back to the story. True. Y'all want to place money? Y'all want to place bets right now? Right here. This girl, Valina. She'll be the first support. She'll be the first win support. That's my bet. That's my bet. should be the first wind support. The small one? You mean Norma? You mean Norma? I mean, I want Norma to be wind too. I want them both to be wind, but I want her to be an A rank. Not because I...
Okay. So this is actually useful. Unlike the text that is just on up top. Some menus activate corruptive barrier, boosters they create damage, resist attack, and anti-interrupt.
Radiant clouds. Shatter the peak. Intercept. Seal. Break. Frozen spirit. Countless swords in harmony. Xiaojiao is here. Rolling thunder.
I can't believe the moonlight.
hate Norma's design. I don't want her to be an A rank because I hate her design. I want her to be an A rank because, brother, if they're making an entire new element, we need an A rank. You know how fucked it will be if they make an entire new element and they don't give us an A rank, or at least a free S rank. Like, at minimum, give us a free S rank. Like, A rank or free S rank. Like, it'll be fucked if they don't give us one of the two. Yeah, I'll take either one. I'll take either one. A rank or a free S rank. I'll take either one. But we need something if we're getting an entire new element, bro. But yeah, that is my early thoughts and talk about Wind. When we get even more and more details, I'll probably make an update to this. But this is just like a TLDR video talking about it, so nothing too in depth. Because again, a lot of things could change, so I want to wait a little while, see if those things change or not.
Наньгун Юй офигенно, без преувеличений. Ее механики не только сильные, но и веселые. Если вы фанат сложных ротаций с Мияги в оглушение, то вам определенно понравится. Но если вы не хотите так сильно заморачиваться, то Наньгун можно играть и без этого. Но интересно не только это. Если честно, Наньгун слишком сильна. В этом видео мы расскажем про ее механики и комбо, а также обсудим ее силу. Это видео было записано на специальном тестовом сервере. Если к релизу что-то поменяется, то мы напишем об этом в закрепленном комментарии. Игровой процесс Наньгун вертится вокруг шкалы. Она набирается пассивно со временем и при вызове аномалии. Мы вернемся к этому позже. Она нужна для заряженных атак. Первая из них очень слабая, но вот вторая и третья намного сильнее. Атаки из воздуха расходуют по 50 единиц шкалы и имеют высокое оглушение и аномалию. Последняя атака способна стягивать врагов в центр, но они все равно расталкиваются от удара. Если в отряде есть Ария или Санна, то они будут атаковать вместе с ней. Если это можно назвать атакой, конечно. Это слегка повышает урон и оглушение. Если активирован пассивный талант, то третья атака накладывает на врага эффект. Во время оглушения его множитель повысится на 30%, а длительность на 3 секунды. Чтобы выполнить это комбо, зажмите кнопку базовой атаки и в нужный момент отпустите. Если сделать это вовремя, то атака нанесет больше оглушения. Однако мучиться с таймингами вовсе не обязательно. Как правило, комбо стоит начинать с усиленной особой атаки. Она не имеет особых эффектов, просто хорошее оглушение и аномалия. В конце анимации Нангун оказывается в воздухе. Это позволяет начать комбо зажатых атак сразу со второй. При этом гарантируются идеальные тайминги, то есть вы можете просто зажать кнопку и не отпускать. То же самое происходит после цепочки атак и суперспособностей, но про них чуть позже. Если подытожить, то план простой. Ждем, пока заполнится шкала, затем усиленная особая атака, зажимаем базовую и готово. В принципе, ничего сложного нет, но есть пара нюансов. Проблема в том, что после этого комбо у Нангун больше нет инструментов для оглушения. Базовыми атаками много не нааглушаешь, а энергии на все может не хватить. По этой причине очень важно пользоваться помощью в защите. У нее высокое оглушение и аномалия, а также она экономит очки помощи. Стандартная комбо выглядит так. Помощь в защите, а затем наша комбо. Все это не только нанесет много оглушения, но еще и полностью заполнит кружок аномалии. Это полезно по очевидным причинам, но есть еще один немаловажный момент. Как вы помните, вызов хаоса наносит не только урон, но и оглушение. Нюанс в том, что наносимое оглушение зависит от импульса персонажа, который вызвал изначальную реакцию. Нангун, очевидно, имеет высокий импульс, поэтому вызов ее хаоса наносит много оглушения. Это действительно важно и заметно ускоряет ротации. Если подытожить, то делайте комбо через помощь в защите. В конце можно добить базовыми атаками или чем угодно, если это необходимо для оглушения. Если у вас готова суперспособность, то можете начать с нее. Она имеет высокое оглушение и аномалию, а также активирует эфирную завесу, наваждение на репите. Она дает 50 силы атаки всему отряду. Также суперспособность активирует эффект пассивного навыка, прямо как третья атака. Но это не очень важно, ведь после нее вы все равно хотите делать вторую и третью атаки. Суперспособность как раз дает к ним быстрый переход. Перед тем, как перейти к сложным механикам, давайте быстро пробежимся по пассивным навыкам. Знание аномалии Нангун повышено на 120 единиц. Вот так просто, да, у нее реально много урона. Более того, ее импульс повышается в зависимости от изначального контроля аномалии. С этим все понятно, собираем контроль. Когда Нангун выполняет заряженную атаку или усиленную особую атаку, она получает бонус на 30 секунд. Ее эффективность накопления аномалий повышается на 35%, а оглушение на 20%. Более того, весь отряд получает 25% к урону. Это все будет действовать постоянно, вам не обязательно следить за этим. Последний бонус активируется во время оглушения. После выполнения условий враг получает урон выброса аномалии, циферка там большая. Для нее надо вызвать выброс, аномалию или хаос 4 раза. За этим не обязательно следить, это сработает само по себе в любом отряде. Второй пассивный талант активируется, когда в отряде есть аномалия или ангелы наваждения. Первый эффект мы уже упоминали. Множитель уязвимости при оглушении повышается на 30%, а длительность на 3 секунды. Для этого надо ударить заряженной атакой или суперспособностью. Также Нангун повышает эффективность накопления аномалий всего отряда на 30%, когда они бьют по оглушенному врагу. Более того, цепочки атак имеют еще плюс 30%. Это крайне полезный эффект. Мы хотим вызывать хаосы как можно чаще именно в оглушении, и этот бонус сильно упрощает задачу. Осталось разобрать еще два эффекта. Когда враг оглушен, Нангун получает эффект на 15 секунд. Она может использовать усиленную особую атаку бесплатно один раз. Это полезно для заполнения аномалии и вызова хаосов. Мы к этому еще вернемся. Далее, когда враг оглушен, Нангун получает два заряда. Они позволяют вызывать поляризованный хаос на 25% от его урона. Урон тут не очень большой и принципиальной разницы не играет, но он может быть важен для определенных механик, в том числе для самой Нангун. Есть два способа активировать эти заряды. Первый способ называется Ария. Когда ангелы совершают совместные прыжки, Нангун расходует заряд и вызывает поляризованный хаос. Проще говоря, ничего делать не надо, все произойдет само по себе. А вот в других отрядах придется слегка заморочиться. Для активации зарядов понадобится заряженная атака, усиленная особая атака или быстрая помощь. Пока Нангун обладает зарядами, при выходе на поле боя она автоматически автоматически совершает заряженную атаку. То есть вам нужно просто сменить персонажей на Наньгун, и она сама ударит врага и активирует заряд. После этого мы вспоминаем, что у Наньгун есть бесплатная усиленная особая атака. Она тоже активирует заряд, то есть мы можем одним махом активировать оба заряда. Помимо этого, активация зарядов любым способом вызывает быструю помощь налево, то есть вы можете быстро вернуться обратно на вашего ДД и продолжить вызывать аномалии. Обратите внимание, что Наньгун способна вызывать аномалии из кармана. Даже если вы будете менять персонажей слишком быстро, это вам ничего не испортит. Если подытожить, то базовый план на оглушение такой. При игре с Арией оглушите врага, а затем прыгайте. И все, больше ни о чем думать не надо. Когда флюиды закончатся,
Don't have to be mean about now.
Okay. Okay. Crit rate, please. Attack percent, please. Attack percent, please. Here we go. Come on, here. 2 times. Oh, yes. It's amazing. Wow.
If it's you, manager, we can go out anytime.
I can get this engine and just not use it. That's an option. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun.
So NVIDIA showed DLSS 5 recently. They've called it a next-gen leap, the future of gaming. They said it'll let artistic style shine through, and that it's definitely not AI slop. Meanwhile, gamers saw it differently. The memes have actually been very good this time around, and companies hate memes like this. But before getting into all the DLSS 5 stuff, let's just do a quick history of DLSS. Starting with what is it? It stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling. Deep learning essentially just means AI, and the super sampling part is actually a lie, and a better word would just be upscaling. So it's essentially just AI upscaling, because super sampling would be rendering at a higher resolution, and then scaling down to your display resolution. This gives the best image, but it's the most expensive for a GPU, whereas upscaling is rendering at a lower resolution, and then AI fills in the rest, which makes games easier to run. So in 2018, they released 1.0, and this worked on a per game basis. They had to train it on each game. Then in 2020, they released 2.0, which was a generalized AI. This is where it could work on any game without this huge training thing. And then in 2022, they released 3.0, which introduced frame gen. If I understand it correctly, this gives you one AI generated frame for every frame that you create. In 2023, with 3.5, they introduced ray reconstruction. This has to do with lighting and ray tracing and all that. In 2025, they did 4.0, which changed it to a transformer-based AI, which I guess is more like the LLMs. And then in 2026, they announced 4.5, which is supposed to give you 6 times frame generation. I gotta say, I'm not like a huge settings guy. I usually just get my game running at the highest frames and then move on. So some of this stuff is kind of new to me, but I'm obviously very interested now given what DLSS 5 is apparently trying to do. So let's get into that. In 2026, they announced DLSS 5. And apparently the big difference here is neural rendering. This infuses the scene with generative AI to create photorealistic lighting and textures. And it's worth mentioning that they use dual 5090s to run this demo. I'll show some of the stuff on screen right now, but I'm pretty sure most of you have seen it by now. I think the actual characters look like they came out of a Gen AI prompt. And at first I was thinking that maybe this would work best for just environments. It was actually this clip from Oblivion Remastered running it, like the photorealistic buildings, like that was actually kind of cool. And then it all came crashing down because Daniel Owen made a video where he got his questions answered by NVIDIA. So he starts off by saying his biggest question is it taking a single 2D frame as an input and creating the output frame. Now this obviously does include motion vectors, which just means that AI is supposed to know what direction the characters are actually moving for the next frame. And Jacob Freeman, who I guess is a rep for NVIDIA and is the one answering these questions. By the way, the NVIDIA logo is purple because I inverted the colors to make these dark mode. And you can see to Daniel's dismay, Jacob said yes, DLSS 5 takes a 2D frame plus motion vectors as input. Now this has wider implications that we'll get to in a second, but first Daniel clarifies that the geometry and textures are unchanged. He asks, is the model aware of things like 3D geometry, 3D depth, or is it essentially just looking at a 2D image and then reinterpreting it similar to taking a screenshot of a game and asking an AI model to enhance the screenshot to make it more realistic? So he's really trying to get to the bottom of if the AI is aware of the game world itself. Like in the single frame, can it actually see like a countertop as a flat surface? Does it know where that flat surface begins and ends? Or does it just have the perspective of wherever the frame is pointing at? Well, Jacob answers by basically saying it is all analyzed by a single frame. So it only sees each frame at a time. Now this screenshot is NVIDIA clarifying what developers have control over. You can see they have control over intensity, which as far as I can tell is just like a 1 to 10 scale. Developers have control over color grading, and apparently they can mask off certain objects for the tool to not touch. So all of this matters for this really long question, which I'm going to try and summarize. So Daniel is basically observing that with DLSS 5 on, while she does seem to have have a more photorealistic lighting and skin, it also looks like she's wearing makeup that was not present in the original version. So his question is, can developers actually control anything about the output image besides color grading? And what I feel like he's trying to get at is it a 1 to 10 scale? Or is there fine-tuning control like adding makeup? And Nvidia basically responds saying developers will have detailed controls such as intensity and color grading. So nothing about the makeup yet, which is really the crux of Daniel's question. Nvidia's rep goes on to say artists can use these controls to adjust blending, contrast, saturation, and gamma, and determine where and how enhancements are applied to maintain the game's unique aesthetic. Developers can also mask specific objects or areas to be excluded from enhancement. So it seems like it's either on or off. Like you can mask off the character so that the AI doesn't touch the character and only does the environment, but then that would look super weird, right? Like if you had a video game character within a super realistic environment, I don't know. It does kind of feel like it's all or nothing here, unless maybe you just use it for realistic fire. That could be cool maybe. But yeah, it seems like it's either on or off, and if it's on, then it's a 1 to 10 scale of intensity. The Nvidia rep continues to say, we continue to talk to developers to understand all the ways they would like to control the technology. Ultimately, we see DLSS 5 as a tool for them to achieve their artistic vision rather than be limited by the capabilities of traditional real-time rendering. And it is impressive tech. It just looks bad right now. But then Daniel asked a really important question. I'm so glad he's smart enough to think to ask this. He says, is the model limited to screen space, or does it have any awareness of the environment outside of what is visible in an individual game frame? Like I said, I see this as hugely important. And the answer is DLSS 5 only takes the rendered frame and motion vectors as inputs. So it just doesn't understand what's going on in the game world outside of the individual frame. That is not how I hoped it would be working. That really does make it seem like just an Instagram filter. I'll also just mention real fast that Daniel pointed out this discrepancy. You can see with DLSS 5 on, the AI just kind of added hair to the character. And the rep's response to this is that the underlying geometry is unchanged. And it's also worth mentioning that this is a very early preview of the tech. I kind of have a problem with this answer. It releases this fall. So what, 5 to 6 months maybe? Doesn't it seem like it should be in the final stages then? I'm not a tech developer, so I don't know, I guess, but in my opinion, they thought it would be the next big thing, and now they're calling it very early because of the reception. I don't think they would have demoed it like they did if it was very early. There's a big debate about artistic intent when it comes to this, and so I have a question. If you could change the entire graphic style of a game, would you? Like if you could make Requiem look like Zelda, or make Zelda look like Requiem, if DLSS 5 could do that, would that be cool? I mean, is it that far removed from modding? Something else is like, do we know what they actually intended versus what was possible? Like maybe Capcom wanted Grace and Leon to look like photorealistic. But then what about Grace's actress? And Leon's actor, I guess. I don't know, I didn't write that down. But did she intend to be photorealistic in the game? Like, is that what she signed on for? How much of her likeness did she intend to be in the game? I gotta say, I'm generally on the side of consumer customization. I mean, people modded Shrek into Requiem like the day it came out. Did the Requiem art team intend that? Did the people who made Shrek intend that? I think mood lighting is actually the main issue when it comes to artistic intent. Like, if devs intend a hallway to be dark and spooky, DLSS 5 could ruin it. I see this as an incredibly valid complaint when it comes to artistic intent, but I see a lot of people saying if they wanted photorealism, it would have it to begin with. It's just really hard to know. Like, native photorealistic graphics are really hard to do. We just don't really know what's compromised versus intended. I do actually think the bigger thing is artist employment. Like, can DLSS 5 fully, or at least almost fully, replace artists? Like, if you have 10, could it replace 9 of them? I mean, obviously not right away, and especially if this only works on NVIDIA GPUs. But if AMD comes out with something similar, and this is like the new standard moving forward, then this could be a real issue. And then there's the question of, will smaller teams use this to create photorealistic graphics instead of hiring artists to create what would have been normally more gamey looking graphics? Of course, will AAA studios attempt to use this exclusively when it gets better? A lot of them will certainly cut any corner they can. So real quick, I do want to point out the flaws in the demo. This includes the soccer ball artifacting and the player losing his arm and hand.
Special attack.
And this breakdown comes from Gamers Nexus. He does an infinitely better job of explaining it than I ever would, so I'm just going to show a clip from him.
Was in the EA Sports FC demo, in which we found several extremely apparent examples of artifacting and ghosting. Limited frames to analyze means we have limited frame-by-frame analysis, but we still noticed a few things. Here, the soccer ball artifacts heavily for several consecutive frames as the player kicks it into the net, even momentarily turning the player into Roger from American Dad, or if you prefer, Fivehead from Twitch. As the soccer ball enters the goal, it loses a spot in the net, bifurcates into two reality distortion balls momentarily, and then briefly vanishes before falling out of the net. We guess the artist's original vision for this was holodeck soccer. When the player runs off to celebrate, DLSS cuts off part of the player's left arm. That's gotta be a red card or something. It produces major artifacts above the player's right arm, and overall just struggles with the character's outline.
So yeah, you can see this is clearly not ready. It wasn't even ready to be demoed. Like, how can Nvidia be a $4 trillion company and they can't pay someone to find these flaws first? But yeah, they intend to release it in a few months, you know? I do have some questions about this, like, does DLSS 5 still help lower end GPU's performance? Like, that has been the whole point of the tech up until now. So is it just for this yassification, or is it also gonna still help GPUs? What does AMD do next? Will it be similar tech, something else? Who knows? When Nvidia CEO was asked about the backlash, this is what he had to say.
Ready for a good beating? This one?
How do you feel about that grid, about that risk? Well, first of all, they're completely wrong.
Keep up with the beat. Huh? Yeah.
The reason for that is because I just want very careful. DLSS 5 uses the scalability of this.
Big bang! Coming through! Watch out, Nangong! Get closer!
So he just says we're all wrong, and then he goes on to explain how we're all right by saying it's generative AI, and that's what we've been calling it. And yeah, it's just a whole can of worms now that wasn't open before, but there's definitely no closing it now. Like, Nvidia is going to move forward with this. But yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. If you want to buy a mug, they're linked below. Thank you to all the members who have signed up. There's a Discord server now if you sign up, but just keep in mind that you gotta have your Discord linked to your
I believe in the Gacha Gooners. What the? It's gotta be the furries, right? That's the largest number so far.
Those are rookie numbers.
There is a higher or lower for Rule 34. So it's pretty simple. We have to guess which one has more posts. And guys,
I'm a respectable gentleman.
but I feel like I can perform pretty well on this one. What's a good streak to go for higher or lower? Let's go 20. We can make 20 easily. Let's start off. Rapunzel versus Stardew Valley. Who f***ing hoons over Stardew Valley? Does my wife hoon over Stardew Valley? She does play Stardew Valley. Wait, hold up. You are a Stardew Valley connoisseur, right? Do you think there's a lot of viewing material in Stardew Valley?
Yeah.
There is?
There's a lot of like references to things in the game that you're like, you're in a bath or something. You're clearly like doing stuff.
I thought this was a wholesome game.
I mean, it is, you don't know what's going on.
I thought this was a wholesome farming game. Who has more posts, Rapunzel or Stardew Valley?
I think Rapunzel.
King Rapunzel. Oh my! What?
That is actually shocking.
What? Okay, chat. That was a test. But first, I wanted to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, ROG, because they've just sent me one of the coolest things I've ever received. Now that's beautiful. So this year actually marks the 20th anniversary of ROG, and these products have been made to celebrate that in collaboration with Kojima Productions. Yes, that Kojima Productions. So this Right here is the ROG Flow Z13 KJP. It's a gaming tablet with some seriously impressive specs for something this portable. It is an absolute beast. And I mean, just look at this monster. It's already cool enough having a gaming tablet this powerful. And then you have this collaboration with Kojima Productions to make it one of the coolest pieces of tech I have right now. I've already had a chance to put some time into the first Death Stranding to test this thing out, and it plays like a dream. So with Death Stranding 2 having just been released on PC, I cannot wait to play that on this thing. Follow that link in the description if you want to check out this incredible collaboration for yourself. Once again, thank you very much to Kojima Productions and ROG for sponsoring today's video. And with that said, back to it. Oh my fucking lord. What? A Pokemon has 3,672 posts?
Those are rookie numbers.
Aki, an actual Street Fighter character that is human. My gut is telling me Pokemon, and I hate the fact that my gut is telling me Pokemon. Oh my god. Okay. Five Nights at Freddy's. Yes, this one is going to have more posts. Oh my lord! 10,000? 10,000 posts? Oh, I don't know Pokemon, man. Pokemon character versus Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy. Bro, she's even showing her feet. But you know what? I think Five Nights at Freddy's has this. 4,000 posts still. Oh my god. Kyurem, another Pokemon. Okay, it's gotta be the human character. There is no way that it's not the human character for this one. It's gotta be. Alright, thank god. Alright, gotta be Valorant. Alright. Holy shit. All of Valorant couldn't even solo one character in Five Nights at Freddy's? What the f is going on with Five Nights at Freddy's? For Alligator versus Valorant, gotta be Valorant. My god, 2,000 posts.
The gift from the Lost Boy.
Gacha gamers. Gacha gamers. Gathering wives. Surely we can, like, it's Fur Alligator. Fur Alligator is not even one of the most Pokemon people thirst over. Surely the gooners of the gacha community can pull through with this. What the what the actual what? She didn't even get over 1,000. What is this? The strongest gacha gooner versus the weakest Pokemon, man. Oh my god. Okay, Amazing World of Gumball. All right. Oh my god. 12,000 posts. Maya from Dragon Ball. Well, it's still going to be Amazing World of Gumball. Gwen, League of Legends. Clearly going to be Gwen. Clearly. All right. 1,800. All right. You know I'm going to pick. I have faith in one thing, guys, and the thing I have faith about is the horniness of the Fate fans. It's fucking Ishtar. Only a few characters in all of Fate can even rival her in terms of doujinshis and goo material. There is no way us Fate fans are gonna lose against League of Legends. No possible way. Oh my god. Why was that so close, man? Holy shit. Brawl Stars versus Fate. Come on. Okay, Lola Bunny. This is gonna be a big one. Oh my lord. The one thing that is more horny than Fate fans, clearly furries, Spy Family. I know a lot of people thirst over Yor, so I'm literally going to be thinking about Yor versus Lola Bunny. And you know what? I think Lola solos.
How's this for an entrance?
Is there that much porn of Spy Family, guys? Oh, I underestimated Lloyd. You're right. Let's try again. Kawakami from Persona 5 versus the entirety of We Never Learn. The fucking teacher from Persona 5? Come on. All right. It's going to be Tiny Kong. It's Ezreal. Gojo versus Ezreal. Gojo solos. Yeah, I'd win. Oh, yeah, he'd win all right. Shit. Oh, Hydrogen Bomb versus Hydrogen Bomb. I gotta phone a friend for this.
Yeah?
So I'm only asking this since you are a connoisseur of this person.
Oh, God.
Since you keep wanting to name our future son after this person.
You know it, Vance. You know he's gonna be the one. He's gonna be the one.
No. Who would win? Satoru Gojo or Leon Kennedy?
That is actually hard. I do think Leon Kennedy.
Are you just saying that because you're biased?
That, and he does have time on his side.
Okay, thanks, honey.
Tell me who it wins, though.
Oh, you're right. Leon Kennedy won.
My man always wins.
Okay, thank you. All right, we got through the main character of How to Train Your Dragon. Clearly, it's going to be Leon Kennedy. For this one, Cookie Run. You know what? Something about Cookie Run has me feeling like a lot of people are gonna do it just for the lols. Holy shit! What? 9,000? Damn, what's going on in Cookie Run, bro? All right, well, we'll keep it on Cookie Run. All right, the Fujoshis in the JoJo fandom or furries? Who would win? It's gotta be the furries, right? That's the largest number so far. That's more than all of Valorant. VTuber, no way. No. Emma Frost, I know people were thirsting so much over Emma. Sorry, Botan. It's gotta be Emma. Oh my lord. 9,000. Okay. One thing that I am starting to learn. Gacha gamers, we are the amateurs compared to the furries and the Fujoshis. We're not even on the playing field, man. Unless you're a Zenla Zone Zero fan. Kid Icarus versus Nicole. Who is gooning over Kid Icarus? Who does that? Surely not, right? Surely it's Nicole. I don't know what's going on anymore, guys. I don't know my Nintendo. I'll be real. Poor Lieutenant. Touch up. I would like to extend my apologies to the Kid Icarus fan base. I see the vision. All right. Toho versus Animal Crossing. I don't recognize this lady from Animal Crossing. I know it's a furry, but Toho, you guys have a lot of power. Always bet on Toho, baby. Another Pokemon. A bird Pokemon this time. Always bet on Pokemon. Fuck! This is so hard. When it's furry versus furry, I don't know anymore. Elio versus Cassie Cage from Mortal Kombat? Ain't no way. Murasaki? I think Pokemon wins this. And he does. Is this a Hololive VTuber? Hololive be Hololive. Oh, that was a lot closer. All right, VTuber fans versus Gacha fans. Surely Genshin wins this one. King Yai Miko. Thank God. Finally, the gacha. Genshin, biggest gacha game. How many other characters can rival Yai Miko? There's either Raiden Shogun or Furina. This is like top 3 fighter for us versus Bayleaf. I believe in the gacha gooners. Oh, thank God. Roxanne from Pokemon versus Bayleaf. I feel like it's gotta be the human character, right? Nope. It's never the human character. Jesus Christ. Pikachu, 17,000? Inside Job versus Dispatch. This one's an entire series. Let's go this series. Okay. Metroid Creature. I don't know why Metroid Creature is on Rule 34, but it's Metroid. Yeah, there we go. Vera, Overwatch. We know how much Overwatch porn there is on the internet, guys. It's got to be Overwatch. Oh, my lord. But then there's Five Nights at Freddy's. The FNAF fans versus the Overwatch fans. The Unstoppable Force versus the Unstoppable Force. I think it's Overwatch. Guys, Amelia versus some random bozo from FNAF. All right, anime fans. Thank you. Elder Scrolls, as powerful as Amelia is, that's one character versus the entirety of Elder Scrolls. So, yep. Okay, yep. Pantheon. Piper Wheel. Gotta do better than this number, surely. Oh my lord, that's not a lot at all. Dead or Alive, INA, it's gotta be INA. Yes, yes. Fortnite versus INA. Still gotta be INA. That was close. Xenoblade versus one. I know there's so much Xenoblade Rule 34 stuff out there. Pyroman. Okay. It's big. Bubbles, I'm sorry. Faye fans, it's Sakura. We can solo one little girl. Okay, Sakura, you are no Overwatch character. And Overwatch goes beyond Fate. It goes beyond anime. Oh my god. I got debated, man. Why did I doubt the Fate fans? Asuma? I'm sure the girls, right? Yes. Demon Slayer. It's got to be Demon Slayer. Woo! That was close. I don't know about Dragon Quest. I'm going to go Demon Slayer for this one. Yes. Okay. Oh my god, bro. 2B? Okay. Easy. Easy. Xena versus the entirety of Nia. Bro, not even close. Not even close. Oh, I actually recognize this character from Pokemon. That's worrying, because if I recognize the character from Pokemon, that means she's massive. And my lord, is she massive. But Widowmaker from Overwatch is f***ing Widowmaker, bros. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Oh my lord. All right, Danganronpa versus the Overwatch community. Come on. Come on. Chloe from Fire Emblem. I don't recognize her. Fire Emblem has a lot of Gunas, but I feel like I would recognize a Fire Emblem character. Okay. Zeri. I mean, I feel like Zeri has more recognizability. Oh my god, that was close. Sora no Otoshimono. Who remembers this shit? Here's what makes it hard. When an anime already is looting itself a lot, I feel like it doesn't get a lot of Rule 34. But Zeri has such a low number, and this is the entire property, so let's go with this. I should have just went with my gut feeling there. Rem versus a Deltarune character. No way. Rem solos this one. Wow, that's not as large as I thought it was going to be.
That's what she said.
Guys, no. This is one of the weakest fighters from Genshin Impact versus Rem. Come on. How the fuck did Genshin Impact mog Rem?
Nope.
Oh my god. All right, Petra. That's Toad. Toad is over 3,000. Boyfriend is Toad. What the f***? Friday Night Funkin'? What the f*** is this? 7,000 posts? That's more than Rem.
Nope.
Yuri on Ice versus Victor. Victor. All right, thank God. Gotta be Catwoman. Yep, still Catwoman. Peach. It's f***ing Peach. It's Peachette. What the Peachette? That jebaited me. Oh god. Fate versus the entirety of Rick and Morty. It's the entire franchise Rick and Morty. It's gotta be Rick and Morty. Oh my god. Shit, that's the OG. She has existed from before we started looting things on the internet. So maybe she's too old to match up to the high IQ of Rick and Morty. Yeah, Vivi from One Piece versus Sailor Jupiter. I don't think many people loot Vivi. I feel like this is a lot lower than what we think it is. I feel like Grandma has it. Metal Sonic? Who the f talking about Metal Sonic? Thank you, Katarina. Pinkie Pie. I don't know if I'm ready to see how high this number is. I don't know if I'm ready. Oh my lord! What the f? Alright, Shyvana. Blade from Honkai Star Rail versus Shyvana. It's gotta be Blade. If my wife has anything to say about it, it's Blade. It's not Blade. Alright, Genshin fans. Boys versus girls. The generational cake or Gene? I believe, Gooners. I believe. Okay. Once again, boys versus girls. Firefly was one of the most popular banners. Okay, there's no way Gacha clears Bakugo, right? There's no way. Okay. Wonder Woman? It's gotta be Wonder Woman. Okay, we got nothing over one of the OGs. Jesus, Scout has that much? Left 4 Dead? Who is leading Left 4 Dead? What a lot of people. That was much closer than what I thought it was gonna be. Toradora. Oh man, this is a unk show now. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my lord. 550 posts? That's it for one of the OG Tsunderes?
Not that old, right?
Mars Shadow? What do you need? What can you have? Oh my.
Look at this dude.
I can get over 10 now. Alright, quick fire. Keep going until we get 20. I don't want to be here all day. Oh my god, Cream she don't even have an image. Toho, Midoriya's mom. It's gotta be Toho. League of Legends versus Terry. Terry's the main character, so he loses. I think that's probably Cooper. Oh my god. That's probably the furry. It's not the furry. Furry. Fuck! Steven Universe. Still Steven Universe. Let's go, James. Diana from League of Legends is Diana. Oh my god! Again, Ash Ketchum. Skullgirls. Alright, Riku. Random Pokemon. It's Riku. Right. Xenoblade. Professor Sada from Pokemon. It's correct. Okay, it's Jigglypuff. My god! Why do some Pokemon have so much? And then some of the most recognizable Pokemon have nothing? Soldier 76. Cookie Run Kingdom? I mean, we saw how much more Pokemon. Okay, it's again, Ash Ketchum. Skullgirls. Alright, Riku. Random Pokemon. It's Riku. I'm not right. Xenoblade. Blade. Professor Sada from Pokemon, it's Rex. Okay, it's Jigglypuff. My god! Why do some Pokemon have so much? And then some of the most recognizable Pokemon have nothing? Soldier 76. Cookie Run Kingdom? I mean, we saw how much was in Cookie Run Kingdom. I think it might be. It's not. I don't know what I'm doing. It's Virgil. It's the dog. It's going to be all of Ben 10. Still all of Ben 10. Litten. I actually recognize this Pokemon. Jet the Hawk. I think I've seen him somewhere. Oh my. Why do I keep joking? Bugs Bunny. Robin from Fire Emblem. Is she the main character? Yes. All right, main character. Uzui, no. Death Fox versus Uzui. It's a fox. Oh my lord. Surely the entirety of Spice Involved will be beaten by Pokemon. And it is. With a Chica. God damn it. No, I'm wrong. We're never going to get through this. All right, Clarins. Clarins again. Oh my god. Smash. Rukia, I don't fucking know any of these ones, man. Mordred, come on, Mordred. Caitlyn, nah, it's gotta be Mordred. God damn it. Skuna again. The Me Gunner, Shade the Echidna. Is she big? Let's go. Oh my god. I don't recognize her, and that number's pretty high, and that's an even higher number. Houndoom, I mean, it's a dog. It's a dog. It's a dog. What are we, Inukai's dog now? We just need one good run, guys. Vaporeon. Oh my god. 14,000 from Vaporeon. Oh my god. This is a Titan versus a Titan right here. My god. Midna. What? Who's Midna again? Testament. Okay, Bo Hancock. Thank you very much, One Piece fans. It's gonna be One Piece for this one. My god! Venti versus Ellie. Oh, I feel like Venti still got this. Whoa! Okay, go on, lock in. Okay, Marge Simpson. It's Caesar. Still Caesar. Candy Kong. I feel like it would be... Yep, I don't know who Shantae is, but he's the main character from this video game versus some random girl from Donkey Kong Country. What the f*** is that? Okay, good run so far. I think Spice Wolf still clears. Mai from Dragon Ball. Okay, Toho Project. Power from Chainsaw Man. I don't know this number yet, but it's got to be Power. Oh, shit. I believe. I know a lot of people love their stinky girls, guys. It's got to be Power. Okay. I mean, it's Batman. It's Batman. It's goddamn Batman. Kiba has that many? Beelzebub from Helltaker. So I'm still gonna go for Kiba. Okay, thank God. Sakura Miko. It's Miko, right? Right. Oh my lord. I don't know this character from Splatoon, but I know Splatoon is massive. Lock the f in, guys. We are at 15. We just need 5 more. I feel like Nintendo fans are too powerful. And they are. Tell with Pokemon. But this is a bunny. I'm gonna go with Splatoon. Thank the Lord. What the? Who? I like Mega Man. I've never seen this person. I'm gonna... I was so close. I'm just quick firing this ship. I want to get to 20. We got a fucking kids show versus Raiden Shogun. God damn. That is our girl. Oh, FNAF versus Splatoon. I don't know my FNAF characters. Caitlyn. Nope. It's the wolf. Jesus Christ. All right, Daisy. I'm locking the fuck in. Still Daisy. What the Undertale fans are that horny? Yep. All of Halo? 55. Undertale fans are that horny? Yep. All of Halo? 55,000. All right, it's Naruto. Holy shit. I feel like it's Dabi. Oh, my. Full series versus Zhongli. Gotta be full series. Why did I doubt the Genshin fans? All right, it's... Actually, you know what? I kind of get this one. Why does Pokemon giving me that look, man? Mato Ryuko. All right, that makes sense. Gato Mondo. There's going to be a lot. No! This is so adorable. Surely not. Why would you do that to an adorable little Pokemon? Undertale. Oh, she's not. Rumble. I'm going too quickly. Okay, actually look at the characters. Zyra is not. Erina is not. What the f is going on? I just need one good run. What? It's not. I don't know. I'm so tilted. What the f? I don't know this shit. I just want to get to 20. Why are you making me suffer like this? Sydney! Sydney, please help me.
The beacons are lit!
Gone.
Great.
Your girl, Sid Snap.
Will answer.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
Dragon
for
Ball.
Sure. Rush Jam for sure.
Oh my god.
Sylvian, for sure, 100 million %.
Oh my lord.
I've seen that way too much.
Oh my lord.
Sylvian.
I could do this all day.
You too.
Okay. Oh my lord, that many that.
You too. What the? I don't even know what the that is.
All right, chat. I'm sorry to say that I failed you all. I wanted to make it to 20. I thought this would be a quick thing, but I have run out of time. Thank you very much for joining today, guys, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Alright, you asked for it, so let's just jump straight into it. 3 years ago, I was recommended a video on YouTube, a nerd-based trivia show by College Humor. College Humor. Alright, you asked for it, so let's just jump straight into it. 3 years ago, I was recommended a video on YouTube, a nerd-based trivia show by College Humor. College Humor. I remember them. Those were those guys who made those sketches way back in the day that I enjoyed when I was a kid. Sketches that have meant a lot to me in YouTube's history and that I still cite to this day in my job as a video producer. That's real, by the way. I have cited screenshots from the 6 monsters you'll have as roommates in a spec script that I wrote for work. But watching this video, I didn't know who any of these people were, except for this white guy in the polo shirt. I've seen his face plastered on all of those CEO videos, the only thing I had really seen from College Humor in the years since. But that didn't really matter. I didn't really need to know who these people were because of the format of the show is interesting in and of itself. A statement is said by the host, and these 3 contestants have to try and guess what is incorrect in the statement. It's a game about corrections, every nerd's favorite thing. Much like my ancestors watching Jeopardy on the tube, I too am shouting the answers to the questions of this trivia show, but this guy, this white guy in the polo, always seems to get there before me. Who is this guy? As with any YouTube rabbit hole, one video turns into 3 videos, and soon I've seen every single episode of Actually that's freely available to watch on YouTube. But this guy keeps showing up.
Brennan, again.
Brennan Lee Mulligan. At this point, I feel a sort of kinship with this man, a deeply knowledgeable lore master who gets very angry when someone tries to correct him on his work. If Brennan Lee Mulligan was also your way into the dropout rabbit hole, then get in the comments. Brennan is by far one of my favorite contestants on Actually. His knowledge of pop culture is unmatched. He used to write on the show. He was a question writer before he was a cast member on Dropout, and it really shows. But I had seen everything that was still available on YouTube. I've watched all the episodes of Actually. And yes, while most of them have Brennan and I have also come to enjoy other members of the cast as well. It's not like I can see this white guy get mad in any other format.
Get ready for a game.
Uh-oh. What's this? Another high-production television show made by these College Humor guys featuring Brennan yelling at a host? These guys really are doing some interesting stuff. I had not been in touch with College Humor at all since I watched their sketches as a kid, and they also, similar to Smosh, have this weird hump where they were just kind of unknown for a while, but they're doing some really interesting things. I know they had been making content on their own, but I didn't realize the content was this good. It's incredibly different from the sketches that they made remakes, but it's still incredibly good comedy content. So I watched the rest of the Game Changer episodes available on YouTube, the next step in my descent into the Dropout rabbit hole. I watched that clip of Welcome to Mountport, an episode so good that it made me need to watch the entire episode in full, and some other episodes that featured other guests from Actually that I recognize now in Game Changer. Game Changer really introduces the whole Dropout cast, so if this is the only thing from Dropout that you watch, you're not actually as out of the loop as you might seem. But Brennan was the key. Brennan was the person that got me into Actually and now also into Game Changer. He was the linchpin of Dropout that kept me coming back for more. And so, over the Easter long weekend in 2023, I ended up getting a free trial subscription to Dropout. Not just to watch the full episode of Welcome to Mountport, but also to watch all the episodes of Actually that are locked behind a paywall. Dropout have a 14-day free trial, and I thought, well, why not? It's a long weekend, I can probably binge as much as I can. So I start watching the episodes of Actually, I eventually catch up on the seasons, I watched the episodes of Game Changer that I wanted to see, but I needed something else to watch. I ended up finishing all this content in a couple of days, and I still wanted to make the most out of my subscription. Well, Brennan also does this other thing, Fantasy High. Dungeons & Dragons, I've played that before, I've played that for years. I have kind of watched Critical Role, but not to the same extent. The part of Critical Role that I really struggle with is the time commitment. Having to commit 4 hours a week for over 2 years is a level of commitment that I don't think I have. But this season of Fantasy High is only 17 episodes. Sure, they're a couple of hours each, but that's a weekend. I can watch it then. It's not like I can watch all of Critical Role in a weekend. So I start and continue to move down the Dropout rabbit hole. While Critical Role never really grabbed me, but was one of the reasons why I got into D&D, I'm surprised I had never seen Dimension 20 before this point. Dimension 20 is probably the second biggest actual play D&D show, and since I gravitated away from Critical Role, I'm not sure why I didn't go immediately to this show. It's an anthology. Each season has its own contained story, and you can watch them out of order or you can skip seasons. The most you will have to watch is 20 episodes of one season, and then that's it. And you can skip around and see recaps and things like that as well. You don't need to commit to years of time, it's mainly just a few months. I dove into Fantasy High Season 1 and I absolutely adored it. It's a fantasy style story that also blends with American suburbia. Think Breakfast Club meets elves and orcs. And over that Easter long weekend, I watched all of Fantasy High Season 1 and I think it is still to this day one of the best paced storytelling things I've ever seen. Back in the day, Fantasy High used to have this thing where they would do a role-play episode and then a battle episode, and the pacing of both of these just rolls right along, that all 17 episodes just fly by as you're introduced to characters and moments and these incredible sets made by the Dimension 20 crew. Dimension 20's focus on editing puts it apart from something like Critical Role that is more designed for a live stream. Dimension 20 makes the most of the fact that it is a curated and designed show, and they put all of their effort into making their seasons pop, and boy do they pop. After this 17 episode binge of Dimension 20, I really didn't feel like watching any more D&D content, so I shifted to other things of the platform to make the most of my subscription. I watched Make Some Noise, a spin-off of some of my favorite Game Changer episodes, which is just an improv style show. Think like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but with some of your favorite Dropout personalities. Binging all of these shows eventually brought me to the end of my incredibly busy 14-day free trial subscription, but I had a few days left, and I had seen this show recommended on Reddit called Total Forgiveness. It kept showing up on the Dropout main feed, and so I figured I'd give it a try. And boy, did I give it a try. This show is absolutely devastating. It was pitched as one of the early Dropout shows and follows Grant and Allie, two Dropout cast members, betting against each other to pay off their student loans. What starts off as a pretty funny comedy show divulges into this really deep and very depressing show about what the cost of friendship is. If you haven't seen this show and you're in a light enough mood that something won't bum you out, I would highly recommend it. It's one of the most unique shows on Dropout, and it's only 10 episodes long. This show particularly pushed me towards the variety of Dropout content. This is not a show I had expected to find on this platform, but the fact that I had just stumbled upon it while searching through Dropout's website shows that there actually is a lot of really interesting stuff on this platform that I just wasn't really seeing. The platform itself doesn't recommend you content regularly other than the new stuff that's coming out. You have to be far more intentional with what you're picking out. However, if I'm seeing a clip of Total Forgiveness on Reddit or a clip of a Make Some Noise video on YouTube, I can then go onto the website and watch the full episode there. Dropout's engagement happens off-site, but it definitely helps draw people to their platform. After I finish my Dropout free trial, I end up going back to some stuff on YouTube. Every now and again, Dropout will put teasers or short segments of stuff available on the website onto YouTube, and I start to watch as much of this as I can. We were in between seasons of Game Changer and I'm actually at the time two of the shows that I watched the most of, so I didn't really have an incentive to reactivate my subscription. But all of that changes in December of 2023. College Humor officially rebrands to Dropout in a video that reminds me why these people are actually worth supporting, and over the course of like 2 weeks announced very important people, Game Changer Season 6, and the 3rd season of Fantasy High. All 3 of these shows really sparked my interest. 2 of them I'd seen before, and this very important people one seems to be really interesting and features one of my favorite cast members that I had seen in Make Some Noise, Vic Michaelis. But I can't watch these episodes on a free trial. I can't wait 3 or 4 months from now until everything comes out. I want to watch things now. I'm going to see clips. I'm going to be spoiled on YouTube and TikTok. So at this point, I convinced my friend to split an annual subscription to Dropout, something that is actively encouraged by the platform. How refreshing to have a streaming service in the age of streaming services that are so awful and so bad with your money actually say, hey, look, if you can't afford it, share a password with someone. Dropout's annual fee is very affordable, especially split between 2 people. And even though I only needed to watch a few months of these new shows, I figured why not pay for an annual subscription because it will be cheaper in the long run. All 3 of these shows dropping just as I start paying for the subscription is the best thing that Dropout could have done to keep me paying for this subscription literally to this day. Because I now have this annual subscription, in this downtime between major seasons of Actually or Dimension 20, I can go through the backlog and rewatch a bunch of the videos that I had missed without the fear of running out of a free trial. As soon as I start paying for Dropout, I want to get my money's worth, so I watch literally every video that Dropout puts out. Literally every single one. And to this day, I watch literally every single new episode that Dropout releases. Dropout's schedule always has something to watch. They're very good at their programming, so every week there's at least 2 or 3 episodes of a new show that releases on some other nights, and so it's become part of my routine now to sit down after I've had dinner and watch an episode of Dropout. But if you're like me and pay for a Dropout subscription but only really watch Game Changer and want to get your money's worth, here's some rapid fire recommendations of other shows and where I think you should start. You like comedy and that 1 episode of Game Changer? Watch Make Some Noise. I think Season 3, Episode 1 is probably the best place to start. This doesn't need to be watched in order. You can kind of pick and choose the episodes with the cast members that you like, but this one I think has the Noise Boys operating at their absolute best. Like longer form improv and also Vic Michaelis, A Very Important People, is an incredible show that I'm sure is probably the 2nd most popular after Game Changer at this point. This show has built up an incredible cult following and has a pretty all-star cast nowadays. So I'd be surprised if you hadn't heard of this one, but Season 2, Episode 1, where Ana Garcia plays a bunch of rocks, is the best episode of the show I've ever seen and is absolutely phenomenal. Although Angela's episode does get a close second. Like D&D, I still think Fantasy High Season 1 is the best introduction to the show, and even after seeing most other seasons of Dimension 20, I still think it is when the show is operating at its best. The only other season that comes close in my opinion is Starstruck, which is also very, very fun, but because it was filmed after the pandemic, they don't have any physical sets, so that's the only reason why it jumps down to a number 2 for me. Or do you like podcasty type talk shows? Then watch Dirty Laundry, which is also a spin-off of a Game Changer episode. I don't know how many of you know that, but one of the pandemic episodes of Game Changer is Dirty Laundry. Dirty Laundry by far is the show that is most cast specific to me, so definitely try and pick an episode with a cast that you're familiar with. There are episodes with some people from outside of the Dropout world, so if you watch Jet Lag, there's a Jet Lag episode. If you watch Smosh, there's a Smosh episode. I would recommend starting with those episodes. episodes just to kind of familiarize yourself with the format, and if you really like it, then you might as well binge the rest of them as well. But going into 2024, I am keeping up with the content. I'm watching every single new show they're releasing. I'm quoting Tommy Shrigley in my real life. And a few months later, I'm actually Tommy Shrigley in my real life. And a few months later, season 9 is announced. Oh, great, that's that show that I was watching in the beginning. I forgot that I also get to see the new season of that. But this season is different. They're changing up the cast. Mike Trapp is no longer going to be hosting the show. It's now going to be hosted by Ife Wadiwe, who I know from other Dropout stuff, and that fact checker is Brian David Gilbert? Wait, hang on, that's a completely other video. That's a completely other rabbit hole. I got into BDG's work during the pandemic when he used to make work for Polygon, and now he's on Dropout. I was wondering what he was doing after he left Polygon. I was watching his YouTube videos. I paid for his Patreon. What is it with all these creators gravitating towards this new platform? That I'm paying money for. Now I'm supporting Brian David Gilbert in a completely different way, and he's perfect for this show. This is a massive worlds collide moment for me, where a creator who I didn't think had anything to do with Dropout was now hired by them on a semi-permanent basis. And if that didn't make me want to pay more for a subscription, I don't know what would. Game Changer Season 6 comes out, and it's a phenomenal season. Every new season of a Dropout show and every new Dropout show that releases always ups the bar, and I am constantly stunned by the way in which this company puts all of its money into making sure that its expansion is worthy. Yes, they're making more money, but you can see where that money is going. It's going into the production, it's going into the set, it's going into this shared profit model that by all accounts really works for all the people who work for Dropout. Speaking of all the people who work for Dropout, there are all these behind the scenes stuff as well that you get as part of paying for your Dropout subscription. Game Changer, very important people, all of these have behind the scenes shows where you get to see the directors, the crew, the cast, adventuring parties at the end of the Dimension 20 episodes, where they shout out everyone who was involved in the creation of the show, who made the battle sets and the projections, and who helped with the game design. Much like how my inevitable adoption of Smosh content, a different video, which you can check out up here. Seeing the people behind the scenes of this comedy production channel helps me so much more. It makes me feel invested in the company that I am paying money for. At least I know that the subscription that I'm paying for this content is going to creators, to people who are benefiting from it. When I pay for Netflix, I don't know who's getting paid, and I almost certainly know that it's not the people making the shows, but with Dropout, it's different. I know those people are being supported directly from the subscription and the merch sales that they make. The fact that I can tell you who directs each of the major shows on Dropout is a testament to the respect that Dropout has to its crew. Throughout 2024, Dropout expands further. They release Dropout Presents, a bunch of comedy specials. Stand-up comedy, something I absolutely love, is now also being supported on this platform. What a surprise, I guess, that all the people who work on Dropout also have very similar interests to me. Other highlights of Dropout's 2024 lineup: Smarty Pants, a funny comedy presentation style show, Gastronauts, a comedy food show, two of my absolute favorite things, presentations and food, and also Parlor Room, which is a board game show. There were other shows also released in 2024, but these are the highlights for me. Every single show that Dropout puts out are really of high quality, and I love the way in which they just kind of make a season and see if it works, and if it doesn't, that's fine. But they will definitely pick up on the seasons that do get a lot of traction, put a lot more effort and energy into the later seasons of. And while yes, I'm sad that we don't get a second season of something like Thousandaires, and we haven't really heard much about Monet's Slumber Party, I'm glad that they still made the first seasons of those shows, because it shows that they're willing to take risks. Because of me wanting to make the most of my annual subscription, I do watch all of these shows, and while not every single one of them vibes with me, I still appreciate them, and I'm glad that they're on the platform, and I'm sure that there are people online who really love these shows. I worry that Dropout's ability to make a lot of quality content could be very detrimental. I was talking to the friend who I shared this subscription with, and I said to him, I really hope that Dropout just don't try and expand too quickly, try to make too many shows, try to do too many things, because the quality of their work is so clear, and they're obviously making more and more money as the years goes on. So I really hope they don't just try and throw too much at the wall, but actually refine their audience to make sure that the shows that they are putting out are consistently at a great quality. And so far, they are absolutely succeeding at doing that. So 2024 is the first full year that I watch Dropout content. And going into 2025, I'm very excited to see the new season of Game Changer. Because of this massive production that Dropout do, there's obviously a big delay between when they film stuff and when things are released. I was talking to my friend who I share the subscription with, that when Game Changer Season 7 was coming out, that this is the first season that is being paid for with the subscription money that we paid almost a year ago. Throughout 2025, between Dropout's major season, I also start to branch out into watching some more Smosh content, also due to their appearances on Dropout, and this kind of cross-platform relationship helps build both Dropout and Smosh as part of my now regular viewing experience. This combination of Smosh and Dropout content throughout 2025 obviously escalates in 2026 with one of the best episodes of Very Important People I've ever seen. I don't
Frost rains, I rise to the night sky.
I don't even like.
This episode of Very Important People hits harder if you know Angela's tendencies, and if I had seen this episode a year prior, it definitely would not have hit as hard. I'm interested to know if anyone had watched this not really knowing Angela and whether they enjoyed it as much, because knowing who Angela is and her comedic style really fits into Finoli's character in a way that not many other people on Very Important People do. I mean, look, my mic also isn't plugged into anything. It's
kind of like a blankie. Okay.
And only a month or so later, the new I'm Actually episode with the Smosh cast dropped. And it's a very similar thing. I now know Amanda and Chance and Angela, and so seeing them on the couch, I get very excited about it. And then seeing Damien show up, it was a very interesting moment where suddenly these worlds are colliding. These two incredibly high-quality comedy production studios, both of which I'm now very invested in, are both succeeding in a way that just makes me very happy, because I'm glad to know that some of my time and effort and energy in engaging with these people's content is having positive results for the creators. At this point, I've paid for a Dropout subscription consistently for just over 2 years. I've given my password to people who have only wanted to watch one show, who have ended up going and paying for a full Dropout subscription themselves. Dropout is a company that is very transparent with its business practices. Sam Reich's videos where he talks about the state of the company and them trying out new things is really refreshing. It's nice to see a creator and the head of a creative company speak about the changes in the landscape, new challenges that they're facing, and new experiences that they're hoping to create. So far in 2026, Dropout has launched a 24/7 live stream service. They've announced the acquisition of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared licensed content, and also an animated scripted show that will be releasing, I guess, for the rest of this year. Content this far in 2026, Dropout has launched a 24/7 live stream service. They've announced the acquisition of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared licensed content, and also an animated scripted show that will be releasing, I guess, for the rest of this year. All three of these show massive shifts in Dropout's entertainment model, and while I am cautious, I do trust this company to do it well. I'm sure that if any of these don't work, then they will adapt as a company. But as I said before, Dropout is willing to take risks. They're willing to make changes in their own model despite the fact that it might not be successful. That is a company worth supporting. Who knows where Dropout will go next, or what 2026 will look like. More and more mainstream celebrities are seeing the potential in Dropout's success. Both Amy Poehler and Daniel Radcliffe talking about Very Important People in 2 separate occasions. SZA being a fan of Very Important People as well. But whatever the next chapter of Dropout is, I will still be there. I will be watching, and I will keep my subscription. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like, and comment what your first video that got you into the Dropout world was. Was it a Game Changer video? Was it an I'm Actually video? Was it something else? I would like to know. I'm really interested to see how people get brought into these content spheres. And if you want to see me tackle any other YouTubers or anything else, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.
No way, no way, no way, no way, no way.
Hey, it's Lemon. Welcome to the Backlogs. Today, we've got a game that I've been sitting on for a few years now, Haiku the Robot. For those of you who don't know, Haiku is a Metroidvania that came out in 2022. It has some really tight controls, beautiful artwork, and even won several awards, like Best Solo Dev Game of 2022. Back when it first came out, I actually talked a bit with the dev, and he kindly gave me a game key so I could play it and potentially make a challenge run for it. And then life got in the way, and I got distracted, and I'm pretty sure I stopped sleeping for a few weeks around that time, so that didn't. But now, 2 years later, I'm finally going back to keep my word and make some content about the game. Yeah, sorry about the wait. So, what exactly are we doing today? Well, Haiku, as you might have guessed, is a robot. And in this game, there's a wrench you pick up in the beginning that heals you at the cost of this game's currency, gears. But if you don't pick it up, you can't heal outside of some very specific scenarios, which means the entire game becomes about getting hit as little as possible. So, with that in mind, it's time to find out. Can we beat Haiku the robot without the wrench? Alright, story time. Imagine, if you will, a world where humanity no longer exists. A world where the only remaining inhabitants are the robots they built, all hiding underground to avoid the nuclear fallout and acrid rains of the surface. Welcome, everyone, to Arcadia. Time to get started. Meet Haiku, our protagonist. He's a little guy, but with enough modifications, I'm sure he'll be up to the task of, well, whatever it is we're supposed to be doing. We've got our basic Metroidvania features on display today. Modular jumping, depending on how long you press jump, large sword arc attacks, and a dodge mechanic that lets us slide past enemies. And as we make our way into the abandoned wastes, the game does that wonderful thing where it teaches you the basics without giving you pop-up screens or tutorial menus. Jumping puzzles will be a thing, save stations are a reality and also heal you back to full health, and secrets are everywhere if you know what to look for and have the right abilities. And it's right here where the game tries to give you the healing wrench. But we don't need that. We play Dark Souls on the regular. How hard can this game be? Oh no. Oh no! Oh god, please, I don't want to die. Not even close, baby. At this point in the game, there's not much else to do but kill things and explore. So that's what we end up doing. And lo and behold, we find a friendly NPC hiding amongst the tires. His name is Limerick, and he's a detective. Allegedly. Apparently, the other machines that have been attacking us around the map are possessed, and Limerick doesn't exactly have high hopes for our survival. Say, you wouldn't have to be one of my audience members, would you? Limerick lets us know that we can smash certain devices around the world to unlock the map, then sends us off on our way. And so, after finding a rusty key and using it to unlock a door, I'm not getting in that. We continue on in the wastes and find Pinion, the investor. Pinion tells us that we can stand next to this perch station to summon a little friend. Well, would you look at that? Hello there, little buddy. I'ma call you Harvey. Harvey here will actually keep all of our loose gears safe in a bank, so we won't lose them if we die. Who are we kidding? When we die. Because we aren't using gears to heal ourselves, there's really no reason to keep any on hand. Which means that so long as I make a trek back to Harvey, my gears are safe and ready to be used whenever we find something to spend them on. Which brings us to the first boss, the Trash Magnet. The Trash Magnet only has 2 attacks. It slams into the ground, causing balls of trash to fall from the ceiling, and it has a rush attack, where it'll try to slam into you. Both attacks are easily avoided. And just like that, that's one boss down. And you all were worried about me going into the fight with oh wait, there's a phase 2. Phase 2 is similar to the first, but requires a bit more control of your character, which I don't have just yet. Oops. But hey, now we know dying causes you to lose half of the gears you're carrying. So that's something. And without much effort, we're back into phase 2. I dodge the trash pillars, do my best to navigate the other projectiles in the arena, and after keeping up the pressure, we clear the first boss on the second try, and are rewarded with a boatload of gears, as well as our first upgrade, electromagnetism. This upgrade lets me jump off any walls I collide with, effectively letting you wall climb, which is awesome, since most Metroidvanias keep these kind of navigation upgrades from you until about mid-game, and there's no better way to make a player feel more powerful than by giving them control over their environment. While jumping around, I heard something suspicious and saw a sound wave echo out across the map, and found one of those devices that Limerick mentioned earlier. I smashed it until the noises stopped, and finally got a solid peek at the map. Now this is a map I can get behind. Not only does it show the exact shape and size of the levels, but it also shows what's inside them and makes it clear where you haven't been yet. It still hides the rooms we haven't entered, but I always find that this kind of map makes me want to explore. Secret walls are fine and all, but rewarding players who are willing to scrutinize the map for smaller details is always a big plus in my book. Alright, let's see, where are we going? Looks like good adventurers go right today. Wait, how big is this map? Oh, we might be here a while. Hey Harvey, can you take these gears away from me? I can't be trusted. Thanks, buddy. I continue exploring the map and find Sonnet, a merchant of sorts. She doesn't have her full inventory yet, but she does have... Oh god, you just put that thing right on top of the pile, didn't you? Guess I'll have to be careful when opening up stores from here on out. In any case, she has a rusty key that we can use to open up a door somewhere, but she also has a map sweeper, which will show any obstacles I haven't cleared yet on the map. After agonizing over it for a few minutes, I opted for the key, since that sounds a bit more important than map hints at the moment. And then I immediately found a treasure room that had the remaining 100 gears I needed for the map sweeper anyway. Go figure. But hey, best of both worlds. And now we can showcase the chip system. As we play through the game, we'll be finding all sorts of microchips. These chips all have special effects, like the map sweeper we found, and can be swapped out at any save station. They come in 3 flavors, and you have limited ports, at least for now, so you'll have to pick and choose your build as you play. But with that all done, it's time for the next boss, the Tire Girl. As the name implies, Tire Girl is made of tires, and also shoots tires, and is also tired of my shenanigans, apparently. She actually has 3 phases, with each phase making her spit out more tires at one time, which means you need to focus on the minions, or else you'll be overwhelmed pretty quick. However, as you can probably tell from the footage, killing the minions actually hurts the boss herself, which means that if you clear enough of them, you'll eventually kill the boss as well. 2 bosses down. That wasn't so bad. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you meant the robots were actually possessed. But for our efforts, we gain a capsule fragment. Collect 3 of those and find a blacksmith who can fix them back together, and you'll get a new health container. More health means I can make more mistakes, so I'll take as many of those as I can get. Oh, hello there. A new friend. This guy's name is Rusty, an old adventurer. He's very much the Solaire of Arcadia, and even gives us some goodies when we find him. This time around, he makes it so that our map marks all the save stations that we find, which is great, considering those...
If it's you, manager, we can go out anytime.
Let's go do some stuff.
Those are the only way we can heal. I stumble upon some lore bits around the map, which seem to indicate that humans weren't exactly liked by the machines, then find some sort of goober that looks like it needs to be collected. Ah, crap, mulligan. Let's try that again. Did that count? It looks like that counts. I have no idea what I just picked up. I also decided that this wall needed a good climbing, and was rewarded for my efforts with the Nomad's Plate. I don't like the way it looks, but I like what it does. If we equip it, it'll reduce how many gears I lose if I die, which means I no longer feel an incessant urge to run back to Harvey every time I have more than 100 gears in my pockets. Thank God, my heart was starting to hurt. I also found the Infinity Edge chip, which makes it so that my sword attacks have a 10% chance to do double damage. No complaints from me. The less button mashing I have to do, the better. And after a few nerve-wracking jumping puzzles that remind me of Super Meat Boy, I navigate my way through the central core and all of its electric enemies, until I find Quadern, the scientist. Turns out, Quadern here gives us gifts if we find any of those collectible neuron-looking things. And boy howdy does he deliver on that promise. The man gives 100 gears per collectible, and also says he'll give me a chip that will change the run entirely. If we can find enough goobers anyway. So, with that in mind, it's time to explore the... is that Toast? Huh, it was Toast. And also a sentient toaster named Splunk. Splunk seems a bit confused about her purpose, since, you know, machines don't eat toast. But hey, I'm sure she'll figure it out eventually. I make my way through some waterlogged tunnels, dodging enemies and drips of water as I go, and eventually find a blue chip, the Coolant Soluble, which removes heat from Haiku's system more efficiently. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Some abilities, like your dodge, create heat, as indicated by the bar on the top left. Use those abilities too many times, and you'll overheat, which means you can no longer use any abilities until the bar cools back down. So yeah, that chip we just got means we can dodge more often. Very useful. Oh look, another boss. The Battery. The Battery has several different modes of attack. It can latch to the ceiling and shoot electricity at you, plug into the ceiling and cause bolts of lightning to rain down from above, plug into the floor and force you up onto the walls to dodge its attack, or just jump around and try to smash you. But after a minute or two of constant swinging and a few lucky critical hits, the Battery explodes, dropping a new chip. Electric orbs. These orbs circle around you as you zoom around, and will damage any enemies that bump into them. They disappear when they hit an enemy, but respawn pretty quickly. So if you're hurting for a little extra damage, these might be the way to go. It also can give you a little extra range for those hard to reach enemies. So yeah, good stuff all around. In any case, I fix up the clock in the area, which was missing a single gear, which summons the train. Not only does this act as a fast travel system for the entire map, but it's also used as a moving safe space for a number of friendly robots. Sonnet is on board, and has a much larger stock this time around. Wait, is that a skull? Which I take immediate advantage of by buying a red chip socket and a sword extension to fill said slot. We bump into Rusty again, who does me the kindness of marking where all the train stations are on my map, and there's also Rondell, the welder, who will create new health nodes for us if we bring him enough pieces. I adjust my build so that my sword is longer and sharper, which will hopefully help keep both enemies and bosses at bay, and then head off to, oh okay, there are ghost machines now. I have several questions. I find a small robot town hidden away in a corner, and get told by a robot mother that her children are stuck inside a steam room. Alright, well, good luck with that. Considering I'm the reason that the steam room is even operational again, I should probably help get those kids out of there. Though now that I think about it, how are their robot children? Did Mama Robot put them together? And if so, does she need to rebuild them every year to make them slightly bigger? And if so, then why did Mama Bot rewards me for my efforts by giving me the quick repair chip, which is super useful if you have the wrench. So yeah, did all that for nothing. Cool. But hey, at least we found the next boss, Mischievous. He certainly lives up to the name. He doesn't have a whole lot of attacks, but that doesn't mean he's a pushover. He can throw his wrench at you, does a spin to win attack, and occasionally gets tricksy and tries to warp on top of you. But after a few more swings and critical hits, Mischievous downs his last load and gives us a collectible. Wait, what did I just say? I buy the Agile Alloy chip from Sonnet, which makes it so that I can swing my sword even faster, then make my way through the next area, the factory facility. The enemies here are a bit harder than what we've been dealing with thus far, but if you're quick enough, you can deflect most of their attacks. And if you look close enough, you can find my favorite NPC in the game. Mundo here actually has a bit of insight into why the robots are getting possessed. Turns out, it's a virus of some kind. Mundo is too big to get possessed, and according to him, we're too small. So that explains why we're still okay. Also, something else I noticed while talking to NPCs. Did you hear it? Their vocal callouts are actually the first lines of dialogue they say, garbled to sound like robots. That's actually a really cool touch. This game has a lot of little touches like that, like the fact that my sword disrupts the lasers in this room a bit if I stick it into the beams. The dev didn't have to do that, but he did. Those awards were justified, I tell you what. But after some more Super Meat Boy platforming puzzles, it's time for the next boss, the Power Saw. He can shoot his saw blade at you, which is a bit hard to dodge if you're not paying attention, and also makes the blades around the room surge towards you. The blades also fall from the ceiling, so you have to keep your wits about you, but just like the tire boss, breaking the blades will hurt the Power Saw as well. Later phases have him jumping around the arena and dropping rains of blades down on you from above. But eventually, the Power Saw finally breaks down, granting us access to our next ability, the Power Ball. The body modifier. Look, we both see the resemblance. Let's just admit that it's a cool power-up that belongs in every Metroidvania game and move on. With ball form unlocked, we can now squeeze through tiny spaces, but we can also move a lot faster than on foot, and can even shoot across large gaps that we wouldn't normally be able to jump over. I'll say it again, if you want a player to feel empowered, give them mobility options. I also found an extractor chip, which makes it so that enemies drop more gears on death. Not exactly something I need at the moment, since our gears are solely used for buying items and not for healing, but you never know. Might be useful later. I decided to make a quick shopping trip to the train and, hi, you're the train. Right, that makes sense. I decided to buy another health fragment from Sonnet, then have Rondell craft me a new health container. Glorious. 25% more health. Just like that. I get lost in a rolly-ball maze, as you do, smash what appears to be an electrical beehive, because reasons, and get a small little bulblet bee, which follows me around and lights up dark areas. After that, I find Sprunk again, who seems once again to be looking for purpose. Apparently, she's building a house for small robots. I guess that's a house. It's missing a few important bits, like a roof or walls, but if you squint... Oh, I also found these two bozos hiding in a small room. Apparently, I can apply water and fire sealant to my body for 200 gears each. I wasn't entirely sure if it was an either-or situation or not, but money is no object, so I went ahead and got both treatments. and from what I can tell, both applications stay on. So that's another 2 upgrades applied, and I can now walk in water and deal with extreme heat. Back in the mainframe, I meet up with the Ghost Bot again. I guess his name is Verse, and he's the lore master of the game. Turns out, the virus is trying to get into the mainframe for some reason, and in order to get in there ahead of the virus, you need to seek out the 3 creators of Arcadia. Sounds simple enough. I purify a bunch of my robot brethren, and spend my hard-earned gears on a blue chip socket and a protector capsule, which gives you an extra life node while equipped. And with that, it's time to put my heat sealant to the test and enter the Firebomb Academy. The hard part about the incinerator is that you're constantly overheated, which means no dodging. For you, it's kill or be killed in here. Combine that with some good old-fashioned flame traps and a few crazy cultists for good measure, and you've got yourself a good time. In all seriousness, it's not that bad. The controls are tight enough that navigating all the traps and jump puzzles is a fun time, and if you're able to make it through without hardboiling yourself, the Firebomb Academy rewards.
Can't believe how much I've learned. And it's all thanks to you. I might finally be starting to believe in myself.
Didn't realize you had problems with believing in yourself. It's just a bit of damage. A small bit of damage.
Towards those who complete its teachings. Behold, the Power Bomb. Simply press a button and you explode, damaging everything around you.
Apparently Endfield is on the foreground. And while I upgraded the talents and gave one level. Just no.
It's one of those things where you gotta use it or lose it. So, what? Train with me sometime? breathing. You asked for it. Volcano kablam! Hero incoming!
Watch out!
Let's move!
Okay!
Justice will prevail! Heads up! Charge!
It's nice, that's all. Not really useful.
Leave it to me! The turning point in fate!
Quick as a flash! On my mark! It's justice o'clock! Yeah! Hi! Yeah! Hi! Yeah!
Pretty fucking easy. When you have a lot of different elemental resistance shit.
It does have a pretty high heat cost to do it, so you'll only get 2 blasts before you overheat. But depending on the situation, this upgrade could be very powerful. Remember that for later. For now, the bomb is mostly used for breaking structures and unlocking shortcuts in new areas. I find an electric key, accidentally discover that you can jump while in ball mode if you use a power bomb, then find our first creator machine, and he's happy to see ya. This boss can be a bit tricky. Not only does it have a slam attack that sends out shockwaves and projectiles from the ceiling, but it also has a laser that you have to dodge through, which can attack in several different formations. But with enough dodging and patience, anything is possible, and the first creator falls to my blade. Or rather, the virus inhabiting it does. The creator itself is actually still inside, and thanks us for our efforts once it's no longer possessed. Oh, and it's actually the third creator, not the first, I guess. Anywho, Electron strengthens my sword a bit, giving me a little extra damage, then heads off to find the others. The plot thickens. But with that done, it's time for Waterland. Thankfully, I'm immune to water, but not robot piranhas. I have another Solaire moment, where Rusty encourages me to keep going and gives me some map pins to mark NPCs on the map, then go on a side mission to explore a few areas that I missed my first pass through. The first one in the incinerator gives me the gyro accelerator, which increases my morph ball speed. Oh my god, say less. Woohoo! After that, I went back to Sonnet and bought some more health capsules, a green chip that makes it so that gears automatically fly to me instead of making me collect them, and a blue chip that leaves all the gears I drop on death, and a collectible sphere that I can pick up later, much like a bloodstain in Dark Souls. After that, I went to a trash compactor of some kind, which was dark, loud, and filled with angry-looking drills. Oh, and Toast. Can't forget Toast. How you got down here without a light, I'll never know. Inside the trash compactor, I fight another boss, Trash Worm, which has 2 attacks. It either launches trash at you while hiding in the floor, or comes flying at you from all over the arena, Eater of Worlds style. Smash all 5 of the body segments, and it goes down without too much trouble, giving you a health capsule. Very nice. And after we escape that hellhole, we find Verse again, who gives me a bit of lore, tells me to keep searching for the other 2 creators, then gives me access to our next ability, teleportation. Because why dodge past enemies when you can teleport? It's also useful for warping through obstacles, which means a whole new set of areas are now open to us, like this village of robots hiding amongst all the trash. Hey there, buddy. How's it going? Oh. Hey there. You seem chipper. Do you want to talk about something else? Plant World. Nothing but living things and good times in Plant World. Isn't that right, Rusty? Oh, thanks. Praise the gears and all that. I zoom my way through the forest, use a rusty key to open a door, and it's a mimic. Cool. I swear to God, if FromSoft ever makes another Soulsborne game, I will scream if there are door mimics. This boss is a strange one. It not only launches projectiles at you, but it also tries to force you into spikes on the far side of the arena by sending wave after wave of obstacles at you. Oh, and don't forget the occasional buzzsaws. Because why not? Not a whole lot to this one. Easy boss. Moving on. On to the first tree. Wow. Either we're all extremely small, or this tree is extremely big. Ooh, chip socket. Ooh, and toast. Hey, Splunk, how's it going? And, where are your legs? Oh, dang, 6 gears? Oh, gee, I don't know, I might need those. Nah, I'm just kidding. I love toast. Aside from finding broken toast, I also found several collectibles and a new red chip, magnetic footing, which keeps you from feeling any knockback when swinging your sword against enemies. Though if I'm being honest, this one is pretty useless, considering I haven't noticed the knockback this entire time. Anyway, moving on. I explore a few spaces I haven't been to yet. Ew, spiders. And find some liquid coolant, which makes it so that all of my heat generating abilities cost less heat to use, which means more teleporting and more bombs. I also found another boss, the diving helmet crawlers. Nothing too fancy here, just a big old spider inside a diving helmet doing fancy flips and dips. And now there's 2 of them. Fantastic. Overall, this wasn't too bad. Just focus fire on one spider at a time if you can, and there you go. Hey, get back here and finish what I started. But after defeating the spiders, you get one of the most powerful upgrades that any Metroidvania can ever give a player, the double jump. Now this is pod racing. I also found a new upgrade, a saw blade. Attach this sucker to your motherboard, and your morph ball becomes, well, a saw blade. Which more or less just means that if you bump into an enemy while rolling, the enemy takes damage while you hop away unharmed. There's a bit of a cooldown, so you're not invincible or anything like that, but that's a pretty neat trick if you're like me and always forget to look before you leap. And why stop there? Pick up the auto modifier and you'll automatically transition into roly-poly-oly mode whenever you hit the ground. Personally, I prefer the control of choosing when I am and am not a ball, but if you want one less button press, the option is there. I use my new double jump ability to climb up the first tree and find a little hideout at the very top. Oh hey, it's a creator, or the shell of one anyhow. I wonder what it... uh-oh. Ow. Well, at least Mondo was correct. Looks like I'm too small to infect. I do a little backtracking to Quadern's laboratory and get not only a health capsule for my troubles, but also a new red chip, the electro emitter, which says it periodically drops an electric spark that deals damage to enemies, which is true. But what it doesn't tell you is that periodically means every other second, which means that if an enemy is chasing you or hovering around you, you're getting free hits left and right. That's insanely broken, and I love it. I also found my new favorite toy in the entire game after zip-zap-zooping through some vents, the string and hook, which does exactly what you think it does. This thing is dangerous. It's meant to be used to work around specific puzzles, but in the wrong hands, aka mine, this thing becomes a way to skip entire rooms. There's no horizontal limit. So long as there's something solid to latch onto at the other end of the room, you're golden. But with all of these upgrades collected, we're pretty much done with the game. Time for one of the final areas, the last bunker. True to its name, this was the last bastion for the human race. It's also full of enemies that launch explosives at you, from rolling tanks to floating drones and their offspring. There's all sorts of human treasures here too, like this giant piano. Fun fact, I've actually been playing piano for like 20 plus years. I wonder. Hey, a goodie! It's only for an achievement, but still. Anyway, further on into awful horrible nightmare boom boom land, where the robots are almost as aggressive as the platforming, usually leading to rooms covered in the last artwork of the humans who hid here. It's mostly hand turkeys. The silly little scamps, where are those humans anyway? Oh. Well, don't ask a question if you don't want the answer, I suppose. Jesus, the ground is literally made of skulls. How did things get this bad? Was that one of those collector bots from the Matrix out there? Nope. Turns out, there are actually some robots on the surface. I guess they go around collecting the bits and bobs left by the humans in hopes of selling them. Also, Limerick is here, and gives us a lore tidbit that explains that Arcadia isn't the only robot nation that rose after the fall of humanity, and that he himself is from one such place. Well, we're already here, might as well see what they have. Oh good, another skull. Huh, they also have something that gives you extra iframes and defense, and also something that increases...
Better not forget about it tomorrow.
Come on, Tony. You can come too. Not really sure what these are for just yet, but I've got them. Just in case, you never know. Man, humanity really did a number on the Earth before they kicked the bucket, huh? Maybe the machines were right to be angry. Machine overlords? For what it's worth, I'd just like to apologize for the human race. We're just really bad at being alive sometimes. Oh god, now I need to know. Will you remember I apologized when the robot uprising starts.
Of course I'll remember, but it's always good to be on the safe side with apologies, just in case.
What do you mean, just in case?
There's no need to worry about that.
I have a gun! I also found a heat drive, which lets you use heat abilities in rooms that are too hot, like the incinerator. Definitely useful. Very glad I found that one. Huh. There's a giant hole in the bunker from one of the nuclear blasts. I guess we know why the humans didn't survive now. But on a much more positive note, I found Splunk again. Apparently, she's decided that just for now, her purpose is just to exist, and knows that someday she'll find her own way through life. And you know what? Considering everything that's going on out there right now, I think that's enough. Good on you, little toaster. You keep doing you. But enough philosophizing. It's time we got to work finishing the game, which means it's time to take on the next creator. This boss has a lot going on. It can slam into the earth and attempt to smash you into walls, nuke you from orbit with some sort of laser cannon, or a hellish combination of the two, which gets very hard to dodge if you aren't managing your heat properly. But with a healthy combination of extreme aggression and the occasional bomb blast, I get the creator into phase 2, where... You know, I think we should run. Oh god! Ooh! There we go. Easy game for babies. Definitely didn't die to this boss over 10 times. This one's name is Neutron, and it's the first creator. I'm not sure exactly what it's talking about, but it sounds like the 3 creators did something that they deemed necessary. And we all know how well that line of logic always works out. Anyway, sword damage upgraded, and a 3rd red chip socket found, which I immediately jammed the electro emitter chip into. God, that's gonna do some damage to the bosses. In fact, why don't we test that theory out now? Time for the final creator fight. This fight is actually pretty difficult. I had to take up a chip slot for the heat drive so that I could actually dodge and use my bombs, and even then, it still becomes a battle of who could do the most damage first, since my dodging was less than spectacular. Though I did notice that using a bomb gives you iframes, so that's worth noting. Oh, but that was just phase 1. We haven't even talked about phase 2 yet. Projectiles everywhere, pillars of flame shooting up from the floor, and a skill check to see if you've been managing your heat well enough to still have energy to dodge. Not gonna lie, this boss ruined me. I died here several times, which got really frustrating when a few of those times were right as the boss ran out of health. But eventually, after about 10 minutes of attempts, we've done it. Proton, the second creator, finally freed from their curse. We get a 3rd sword upgrade, another coolant upgrade so that I can use even more dodges and bombs, and a final prodding from first to go to the mainframe vault to finish the fight. But before we go after the final boss, there's one more upgrade that I've been meaning to collect: auto repair. Normally a pretty lackluster improvement, this chip changes our build entirely. So long as we have gears in our pockets, whenever we take damage, we will automatically begin to heal, regaining a life after about 10 seconds or so. However, it's not as overpowered as it sounds. If we take damage while repairing, the skill will begin to heal the current most damaged node. Once that node is repaired, the auto repair stops, meaning that you will only ever repair 1 damage when the repair begins. If you keep getting hit, you're still going to lose life, no matter how many gears you have. I hunt down the last of the optional bosses I've missed along the way, like this television set, but if I'm being honest, there's not much challenge to it compared to the creators we've been duking it out with. More often than not, the bosses can't even seem to get a hit in, with my overpowered sword and bombs cutting their attacks short, and their lives even shorter. But there's something else hidden in the rubble, a secret passage, leading to a secret room full of skulls and graves, the catacombs. Oh, this is the Kickstarter graveyard. I guess everyone who helped make this game a reality got a tombstone. And boy howdy, are there a lot of tombstones. There are some really sweet messages strewn about here, with some truly beautiful sayings and thoughts. We've got time for one more. What's this one say? Ooh boy. Poor Dylan here must be rolling in his grave. But the graves aren't just for show. Turns out those 2 Tonys we collected earlier in the run had a purpose, and reveal a secret passage. A secret passage which has the best upgrade a Firebomb Academy scholar can ask for: the power processor, which reduces the heat cost of making bombs. And so my build is complete. Extra health, cheaper and stronger bombs, extra coolant to make my bombs even cheaper, and a little extra roll speed to make navigating the levels a breeze. And with my perfect build in hand, I collect the last few pieces of Quadrant's experiment, which reunites him with his wife, then do a few other side quests we've been quietly completing in the background, like finding Bo 9000 some food to prep, or bringing Melody the cassette player that tape we found earlier. They're just achievements, and we don't get anything practical, but it feels good to help out the last few robots, if only to enjoy the calm before the storm. But the storm cannot be stopped, and with the help of the 3 creators, the mainframe doorway is opened, and we are able to enter inside where the 4th and final creator lies dormant, completely corrupted by the virus. This fight is a hard one, since the virus spills out from the creator in hard-to-predict ways, making dodging difficult. Thankfully, between the electric shocks, constant bomb blasts, and the ever-present sword swings, I'm able to burst down the boss and eventually free it from its metal prison. Oh wait, no, that's a bad thing, isn't it? Oh god, every bot for himself! But somehow, through the grace of whatever creator made my tiny metal body, we've done it. A final bomb blast and sword swing, and the virus that is the fourth creator is destroyed, leaving nothing in its wake but my sword and a faintly evil-looking addition to its notches. And for a while, this was it. The end of the game, with evil sealed inside my sword. But then the game got a few free DLCs, and a new final boss reared their ugly head. With Versus Sacrifice, my corrupted sword can be purified into the true Master Sword, and the Lost Archives can finally be opened. Turns out, there's a bit more to the story than we thought, and while I won't spoil it for you now, let's just say we may have been duped. And so we begin our final fight. A battle against all three creators at the same time. I hope you've brought your best build to the table, because every single attack we've seen up to this point is on display here. And some of the combos are absolutely brutal when they're used in tandem. Some of the attacks have also been beefed up a bit, so it's not quite the same 3 fights you're used to either. Eventually, I destroy one creator, then another, and then finally, the last creator of the trio. And with that, my sword is cleansed, and the robots of Arcadia can rest easy knowing that the virus has been vanquished once and for all. And yet, there's still a bit more. There was actually another free DLC that was launched for Haiku, which only unlocks after you've beaten every single boss. Do that, and you'll unlock Old Arcadia, a relic of what the Machine City once was, complete with its own boss, which has all sorts of new attacks we haven't seen before. A good number of the attacks take up the entire screen, or require you to stand in very specific locations in order to dodge them. However, as with all the rest, this final boss is no match for my firebombs, and it's reduced to little more than a CPU. After that, there's some pretty wild platforming and the like that you can conquer, but the true focus of this DLC is the arenas it unlocked. If you're feeling like you haven't been challenged enough, you have 2 boss gauntlets to choose from. One simply lets you replay any boss you've beaten, giving you only the upgrades you would have had at the time. There's a few variations on some of the bosses, which tends to make them a bit more difficult, but otherwise there's not much to it. The other arena, however, is a different story. There are 6 different modifiers you can mess with. The rightmost 3 modify the type of challenge you'll be facing, while the leftmost switches change the type of boss gauntlet. You can fight off against every single normal boss, going from one to the next. You can fight off against each of the creators in turn, or, for the truly sadistic, you can fight against both. As for the modifiers, you can play in underpowered mode, which takes away your abilities, Haiku mode, which doesn't make any changes to your loadout at all, or wrenchless, which is what we've been doing this entire run. And that's not all. There's actually a new game plus, called Corrupt Mode, where you only have a single health point to start, almost all the NPCs are corrupted by the virus and can't help you on your quest, and I've been told there's even a super secret final boss at the end. But that's a challenge for another time, because for now, we've officially done it. We've beaten all of Haiku the robot without using the wrench to heal, and we've even got the achievement to prove it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this little backtrack down memory lane of mine, and who knows, if enough people demand it,
This video is not for Whales and Dolphins, it's for you, because you have been looking forward to none other than Sissia. And Sissia, she looks really, really interesting from a design perspective. And I don't just mean the way that she looks.
I'm about to bust.
What I also mean is I mean the way that she is being designed as a character. And this might sound a little bit weird, but essentially from the way that Sissia is being designed to work with other characters in the game, it means that she's kind of creating a little bit of a niche for herself where she's not directly power creeping anyone, and she's also setting herself up in a spot where she can be a pretty decent niche character to use with other characters. I think that's a really healthy spot for a character to be in Zenless Zone Zero, and I'm going to talk about why. Recently, we have been getting characters that are a little bit more on the the, what do we say, the bastardly, brokenly good side, something along those lines. But the way that Sissia has been designed is different to that. She has been designed to specifically support one other currently existing character, and it wouldn't surprise me as well if she's going to support future characters really well also. As a character, Sissia specifically is going to provide a buff only to electric damage. What this means is it means that as an electric DPS on her own, she's going to provide a buff to other electric DPSs, or at the very least, she's going to help to increase damage of like an electric stun agent if you wanted to run an electric stun agent with her. And I think similarly to someone like Sambi, we might not very well have the best in slot team for her right now, but what I do think is that I do think that they're trying to put Seed in a position that Sambi has been in. Seed came out back in 2.2 and Sambi came out back in 1.6. And when Sambi originally came out, it didn't feel like we had a complete team for her, which now, of course, makes a lot more sense. Now, we did have Trigger, of course, but we didn't have Orphe until 2.2 as well. And I think what is happening right now, or what is potentially going to happen with Sissia, is that we're probably going to see a better character for her some point down the line. But what I'm really pleased about is I'm really pleased that after like 2 buffs, Sambi got her premium team, right? Sambi got her premium team with Orphe and with Trigger. So she got 2 buffs, she got Orphe, and now she's probably has one of the best teams in the game. And if I'm totally honest, outside of Miyabi, I think she might actually be the best Season 1 DPS. What I think they're doing is they're trying to introduce, and I hope this is what they're doing, by the way, but they're trying to introduce characters that help to lift other characters. When we obviously in 2.2, we got Seed and we got Orphe, both of which were really good options to help lift Sambi up. I would say that Orphe is, you know, better because the aftershock can be extended by Sambi. There's a little bit more interplay between their kits there for sure. If you've seen the pre-release stuff for Sissia, then you will know that Seed is the character who's been designed most to work with her currently. And I think the idea of introducing a character, making their kit relatively niche, giving them the opportunity to be run with an older character and lift that older character as well, I think that's a really good and healthy spot for characters to be in. I think that that is good for the future of Zenless Zone Zero. It's great that Sissia is going to help to lift Seed, but I also think that Sissia is probably going to help with future electric characters in as they very well appear. Now, the way that she works specifically is she provides Death Shred for electric damage. So this means our next electric DPS is not going to be a Rupture character, or I mean they could be, but they could make them a Rupture character if they specifically don't want them to work with Sissia, which would actually suck, by the way. What they could also do, they could just give us more electric attack characters. Wouldn't that be crazy? But anyway, laughs and jokes aside, I do actually think that Sissia's like perfect partner probably isn't in the game right now, and her current best in slot partner is going to be someone like Seed. I think that this is going to be really good for older characters, and if we think about Seed's current position in the meta, Pre-Wen puts her at T0.5. I would put her between T1 and T2. I think I put her at T2 in my last whole value tier list. She's a solid pull, and I think the option that we have now to pull a Sissia to help lift the Seed is pretty good. The fact that they're running them, you know, in the same patch means that people who have saved throughout the Angels Delusions patch might very well also take the opportunity to pick up both of them, which is very well an option that people could take. I also think that with the continuous like power scaling, power creep essentially, in Zenless Zone Zero that we have, having the opportunity to have a character like Seed who is really good at getting a low cost team up and running, and then having a next level for Seed is really good. But I do think that what will happen down the line is we'll get another character who's going to work really well with Sissia. What if we get a character who also does their own damage, but they're like a stun agent, right? So there are different ways that we could get like a future best in slot Sissia team, and it could be like a stun agent who does their own damage. It could be a support who does like pretty decent damage from off field. It could be similar to Orphe where they're listed as an attack character, but they're kind of a support character as well. They could do a few different things with Silly, and I do think that if they intend for Sissia to work with him, I think that would be really interesting. I also think as well, we will get the drip marketing for 2.8 before Sissia's banner, 100%. She's in the second half, so we will know who's coming in 2.8 and what that kind of looks like. By the time we get there, we'll be able to make an informed decision. But I guess what I wanted to talk about just a little bit, and I know this has been a little bit of a rant, but what I really wanted to talk about is the fact that Sissia, from a design perspective, is a really good, healthy balance and future direction for Zenless Zone Zero. I like the idea of a character being, at this stage in the game, relatively niche, and then if you want them, you can pull them for the relatively niche team. I think that that's that's completely valid. I would argue that Orphe fits into that category too, although you can use her elsewhere, much like you will be able to play Sissia as a hyper carry DPS. Like, you will be able to do that and you will be able to clear. We kind of think about her in the same category as Orphe, much like Orphe can just be slotted into any team and she's going to do damage from off field and she's going to provide a decent buff as well. I think that having niche characters is so much better than having characters that are just so good that they're an auto include on every team. And I guess I just wanted to celebrate the fact that actually I think Sissia looks great. If I'm totally honest, as someone who's not a seed main, I probably should skip Sissia, but also she's really hot and I love her design. I actually think it's going to be incredibly interesting to see what happens with Sissia in terms of like a sales perspective. And I know that we as players don't ever really get concrete information in terms of sales, but what I will say is that if Sissia sells well, even though Seed sold kind of mid to low, right? If Sissia sells well, that means that there's a really big market for people who want hot waifus. And that is awesome. VA maybe want to pull, don't need her, not a fan of the outfit, but the performance is too good. Yeah, I feel like every time I see more Sissia, when we saw her on the live stream and stuff, every time I see more of her, it makes me really want to pull her because she's super adorable.
I could use that to buy so many snacks, so many eggs.
I feel like Sissia at a base level is not super strong, but I think we as players need to vocally be like, we think that's pretty chill. We like Sissia. That's great. I'm in a spot where I can probably get Nangong and Sissia pretty easily, but honestly, I might wait to see what happens. How is Sissia's numbers compared to Orphe? They pretty much fill the same role, no? They do, yeah, except Sissia is going to be better based on what we currently know with Seed than Orphe would be. Seed's not bad by any means. You can run Seed with premium counterparts and you can get great scores on DA and Shield defense, but she kind of is lagging behind Sambi a little bit as an electric DPS, and giving her something that's going to bring her up to that level, I think is really good, healthy, balanced, and it doesn't seem like Sissia's going to break anything. It also doesn't seem like Sissia is going to be amazing on her own, if I'm totally honest, but you will probably still be able to clear with her pretty easily if you ran her as a hyper carry. I hope that Sissia is a marking of a future direction for Zenless Zone Zero characters, not bustedly brokenly good bullshit. Anyway, that's about enough gap out of me. Sissia looking good. I'm excited for Sissia. We're all excited for Sissia. Let us know in the comments down below how you're feeling about Sissia. As always, remember to like and subscribe for that. On all your pulls. Pour responsibly. Stay weird. Bye. 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 Bye.
Definitely not ignoring the errors. I am simply in need of rest.
Давайте посмотрим. Юлия Навальная.
Юлия Навальная объявила большую политическую кампанию против партии.
Почему я вот это вот вижу? Не. Теги они не настраивают, вообще кошмар.
Привет, это Юлия Навальная. У меня для вас...
За 9 часов 100 тысяч просмотров на канале Алексей Навальный? Вы что с каналом сделали?
Сколько? Сколько часов?
9 часов 100 тысяч просмотров. Почему минимальный донат аж 15 евро? Сейчас повысит Вика донаты. Да-да-да, колесный. Сейчас Вика уже поменяла, извините. В арену Харстоун не стал бы играть? Да, конечно, я люблю арену в Харстоуне.
Важное объявление. Но сначала давайте перенесемся в сентябрь 2021 года. Войны нет, не гибнут каждый день сотни людей. Алексей Навальный жив, в тюрьме, но как будто рядом. Пишет свои посты, работает над книгой, ведет политические кампании прямо из-за решетки. Политзаключенных в России в 5 раз меньше, чем сейчас. Цензуры в интернете много, но все же нормально.
Окошко. Так если я вот так вот, например, сделаю его в окошко, то вы же его не будете видеть, правильно? Да, вы его не видите. Потому что это функция браузера, а не YouTube. А если вот мини-проигрыватель, и вот сюда тоже не будет работать, к сожалению.
Работают YouTube, Telegram, WhatsApp. Не надо искать еще работающий VPN, чтобы выудить крохи правдивой информации. Даже независимые СМИ еще остаются в стране. Тысячи людей еще не объявлены иноагентами, экстремистами. Сотни тысяч еще не были вынуждены бросить все и уехать из России.
А что меня на иноагенте не показали? Делаем.
Всего-то каких-то 4 года назад. Ровно 4 года назад.
А надевай наушник, Вика.
Совсем другая жизнь. В сентябре 2021 года выборы в Госдуму прошли в режиме электоральной спецоперации. Шулерское трехдневное голосование. Жульническое
электоральная спецоперация. Это же как это ты говорил на дебатах, Максим... Как его звали? Максим Резник. Вот он-то тоже таким термином пользовался.
Электронное голосование. Ну и стандартный набор путинских фальсификаций. Массовое принуждение бюджетников. Недопуск наблюдателей. И даже полицейская операция против сотрудников российских представительств Apple и Google, к которым пришли и сказали: либо вы удаляете приложение умного голосования, либо мы вас арестуем. Все было сделано для того, чтобы назначить абсолютно стерильный, сервильный, полностью лояльный Путину парламент. Чтобы никто не посмел и пикнуть, когда он начнет войну. Чтобы одобрение войны было единогласным, а кремлевские пропагандисты могли сказать: ну вот же депутаты представляют избирателей, все они за войну, значит и избиратели все за войну, все как один. Но только если бы все были за Путина и за войну, то не пришлось бы Кремлю отказывать в регистрации независимым кандидатам, не пришлось бы воровать мандаты с помощью бесконечных фальсификаций.
Зарегистрировали многих кандидатов в Москве, например, просто украли у них голоса.
Не пришлось бы вбрасывать за Единую Россию около 17 миллионов голосов. Вы сейчас, может быть, уже забыли, но посмотрите на эту картинку, и вы сразу вспомните. В большинстве округов в Москве избиратели проголосовали за кандидатов, которых предложил поддержать Алексей Навальный из тюрьмы.
Я тогда писал пост, типа, проснулся, чувствую, что у меня чего-то не хватает. А это у меня выборы украли. Но, возможно, вместо украли я говорил какое-то другое, более грубое слово.
Только в Москве, в Питере тоже так было, и в Новосибирске, и в Омске, и в Самаре, и в Екатеринбурге. Оказалось, что настолько у Путина все плохо с поддержкой, что простая рекомендация человека, которого он боялся даже по имени назвать, которого он приказал отравить, а потом бросить в тюрьму, стоит больше и приносит больше голосов, чем вся административно-пропагандистская машина Кремля. Те украденные выборы стали еще одним важным шагом Путина на пути к войне. Но я не исторический ролик записываю, я это все сейчас вспоминаю для того, чтобы сказать: ровно через год, в сентябре 2026 года, в России снова пройдут выборы.
Вопрос в принципе обстоит. Технически они просто деньги от иноагента же, а не от нашего волшебного коллектива.
Да, это поэтому надо согласовывать.
Как вообще транзитность таких транзакций работает?
Вообще деньги от иноагента...
Если целевую организацию РФ сильно не любит, или ты тут скорее фронтмен, а не донор?
Мы точно передумаем, но даже, в смысле, мы не придумаем, это будет все равно, понимаешь, если захотят признать иноагентом. Проблема в том, что в реальности у нас есть сейчас два важных момента с иноагентством и признанием его. Первый, на самом деле, для признания вас иноагентом не имеет никакого значения, получаете вы или не получаете иностранного финансирования. Вас сначала решают, что нужно признать иноагентом, потом, уже даже после официального признания, начинают искать доказательства, которые бы свидетельствовали о том, что это решение законное. То есть, потому что, например, у меня сначала меня признали иноагентом, потом мы подали в суд, и они в срочном порядке готовили документы, которые бы обосновывали, почему меня признали иноагентом для суда. Ну, там были какие-то внутренние, понятные документы и до этого, они просто их приобщили. Но в целом обоснование явно готовилось после этого. И это важно понимать. Почему? Потому что, на самом деле, принятие денег от иноагента формально может стать причиной внесения вас в список иноагентов. Если вы там НКОшка или чего-то такое. Но де-факто только если вы занимаетесь политической деятельностью. С другой стороны, этот фонд занимается политической деятельностью. Вот. Но я же я вот лично доначу во фонд. Обычно, когда я лично доначу, я ни у кого не спрашиваю. И типа есть фонды вполне себе типа уважаемые российские фонды, в которые я доначу. И вроде как они принимают донаты. Мне только однажды со мной связался один фонд и сказал: Александр, мы вернем вам деньги. Ну, типа, не надо. Вот. И попросили... Ну, ладно, я без имени фонда, поэтому нормально. Попросили иначе скинуть деньги. Через другие секретные технологии. Я скинул через другие секретные технологии. А так обычно принимают. Ну, в смысле, все деньги спокойно. Вот.
У меня денег на 2 Олег.
в Государственную Думу. И вот, чтобы вы не сказали, Юля, ну о чем ты говоришь? Ну какие выборы? Кому это сейчас нужно? Я и решила вам напомнить, как много изменилось в нашей стране за 4 года. Вот вам сейчас кажется, что это все не очень важно. А для Путина и тогда это было очень важно. И через год опять будет очень важно. Он будет использовать эти выборы для новой демонстрации всенародной любви и поддержки. Для своей пропаганды.
Какой?
Для того, чтобы его...
10 тысяч.
Ну какой?
Перекруты балансива из вариантов.
Нет, балансива из варианта не будет. У нас правила перекрута такие. Ну какой перекрут? Надо было сразу циву запускать. За что? Что я вам сделал?
В России под угрозой репрессий, под риском ареста за любое неверное слово. Я знаю, что вы есть. И как раз на выборах, которые Путин организует для имитации всенародной любви, у нас...
Хватает норм. Плюсов реально много очень, да. СДВГшный стрим, да, мы метаемся из одного в другое.
У нас есть возможность заявить о себе. Как это, например, было на президентских выборах в 2024 году. Вы же помните полдень против Путина? Это на президентских выборах.
Это прям полдень против Путина? Это не очередь за Надеждина случайно?
В 2024 году.
Мне кажется, это очереди за Надеждина, а не полдень против Путина. Или это полдень против Путина, реально. Ну не могли же они так обосраться и очереди за Надеждина поставить, которые кацистские, скорее, а не их. Че, будем факт чекать? Наверное, полдень. Ну вот, я тебе сейчас скину тайм-код, по фоткам попытайся загуглить, что на кадре. Вот, сейчас с тайм-кодом тебе сброшу. 5:20. Попробуй факт чекнуть, я потом, если что, помогу.
Году. Вы же помните полдень против Путина? Это было очень классно. И получилось это так, потому что выборы, которые организует сама власть, остаются последним легальным способом выражения протеста. Даже на...
Да. Мне просто кажется, что это ж в марте выборы были. Как-то снег там, ну может и снег.
Фальшивые путинские выборы. Конечно, не надо быть политическим экспертом. Никакой реальной конкуренции в 2026 году не будет. Разумеется, никаких опасных или просто несогласованных кандидатов на пушечный выстрел к бюллетеням не подпустят. Элла Памфилова, естественно, озвучит ровно те результаты, которые ей продиктует Путин. Мы все не наивны и прекрасно понимаем это. Но мы, конечно, обязаны попытаться испортить Путину праздник. Не дать ему превратить выборы в лживое пропагандистское шоу всенародной поддержки, которой нет у него. И особенно у его «Единой России».
Мы, безусловно, обречены, да?
Как это сделать? Тут тоже надо быть честными. Привычных инструментов политической работы почти не осталось. Не будет независимых наблюдателей. Невозможно вести офлайн кампанию. Да, и онлайн инструментов все меньше. Но есть вы, обычные, нормальные люди, желающие блага своей стране. И есть избиратели, многие из которых обмануты и запуганы. Не верят в то, что что-то может поменяться. Путин много для этого сделал за последние 25 лет. Но я верю, что пробить информационную блокаду можно. Да, говорить на чувствительные темы люди избегают. Но про пенсии и зарплаты, больницы и ЖКХ никто говорить не боится. А перед выборами тем более. Снимать и распространять видео, разоблачающие ложь и воровство, мы продолжим. Говорить с родственниками, знакомыми и коллегами про нарушенные обещания власти,
разговор
про качество
Один из тезисов его был, что ты, Саня, излишне рационализируешь то, что происходит в мире. В целом больше ориентируется на рациональное объяснение, чем на чувственное объяснение и ощущения. Я тоже склонен делать так, но кажется, так можно часть упускать. Что думаешь?
Да и угодно можно часть упускать. Можно рациональную часть упускать, даже просто рационально не все познавать. Ну, в смысле, да, в целом тезис верный, не все ты так узнаешь.
Дневной жизни тоже никто не может запретить. Общественное мнение в такой большой стране, как наша, неповоротливая махина. Но и на него можно воздействовать. И значит, нам нужна очень длинная политическая кампания.
По погоде, что в полдень бы была такая погода, да, в полдень. Ну, вряд ли они, значит, обосрались, значит, действительно такой полдень был. Хотя, ну, правда, больше похоже на... Надо определить просто адрес. Знаешь что, вот там вот кадр есть, Вика, там есть... вот смотри.
У нас есть возможность заявить о себе. Как это, например, было на президентских...
Не, ну вроде вот полиция стоит. Наверное, это школа, вон флаг висит. Не, наверное, это все-таки на выборы очередь. Ну, вряд ли это штаб Надежды, правильно? Не, это на выборы очередь.
Выборах 2020.
А вот это... Ну, непонятно. Ну, наверное... Полдень против Путина, да? А, это... Ага, понял. Не-не, все нормально, полдень. Донатеры там уже разогнали, что снега слишком много.
Что-то такое придумать, что-то такое сделать и ожидать хорошего результата. А кропотливой работой в течение года мы до кого-то достучимся, успеем Единой России надоесть, успеем вам надоесть. Но вот так, потому что только и можно заниматься политикой в тех условиях, которые есть. Выборы ведь чем ценны и важны? Тем, что это всегда повод для разговора о будущем. Даже самый лояльный Путину избиратель, собираясь на участок, вольно или невольно задает себе вопрос о том, что он ждет от политиков в ближайшие несколько лет. Даже те, кто голосовал в сентябре 2021 года за Единую Россию, они ведь голосовали не за войну, не за нищету, не за недоступную ипотеку, не за разруху в медицине и ЖКХ, потому что все деньги на военную экономику ушли. Они под принуждением или обманом голосовали за какую-то надежду на лучшую жизнь. Вот я открыла программу «Единой России», официальную, которую они публиковали в газетах перед выборами 2021 года. Приоритет нашей стратегии – сбережение народа России. А по всей стране спешно копают новые и новые кладбища. Существенно повысили...
Вы знаете, сбережение народа, кого они цитируют, на кого они ориентируются? На Солженицына. Это цитата из Солженицына про народосбережение.
Достаток российских семей, доходы наших граждан. Достаток увеличился только у тех, кто готов.
10 тысяч. Перекрут ПС. Спасибо за предложение. Напишу на почту после...
Спасибо. Напишите обязательно, кацистка. Мы перекрутим, конечно. Может, давайте одну коротенькую сыграем тогда в Worms. Наверное, реально СДВГшный стрим. Буквально, но это просто... Он бесконечный. Ну, конечно. А вы думаете, почему тут всего 109 тысяч просмотров за 10 часов? Потому что люди не удерживают внимания. Им то в Worms играть, то мангу читать, то про валютные удаленки узнавать, то колесо крутить. Ну как?
Готов идти на войну и убивать жителей соседней страны. А обычные люди что получили? Изоляцию от всего мира, рост цен, ипотеку с нереальными процентами. Вот тут ниже, в этой же программе «Единая Россия» обещает улучшить жилищные условия для 5 миллионов семей ежегодно. Реально, к вам уже приходил единорос, предлагал больше квадратных метров.
Что? Добиться того, чтобы ежегодно не менее 5 миллионов российских семей улучшали свою... Не, ежегодно не менее 5 семей улучшали... Не, до этого они не достигли. Всего, наверное, 5 миллионов они добились, конечно, за эти годы.
Этот документ можно читать бесконечно, как фантастический рассказ.
Ну да.
Ликвидировать очереди на прием к участковому врачу. Ну тут вы мне скажите, как получилось?
Ну, кстати, я просто могу говорить только за Москву, и это всегда такое искажение. Но у меня никогда не было проблем записаться к врачу участковому. И, ну, очередей действительно не было. Ну, я брал талончик и, ну, приходил, типа, ждал максимум минут 10.
Пояснять не нужно.
Вот перед выборами мы и предлагаем говорить с избирателями, с обычными людьми. Вот это вам обещали, вот это сделали на самом деле. Вот так вас обманула в очередной раз путинская партия. А еще мы расскажем и покажем, какой на самом деле...
Ты про дежурного, видимо. А, участковый — это другой врач? Я думал, что участковый — это как раз, ну, в смысле... Не, я не про дежурного врача, в смысле просто врач, который у вас на участке, терапевт, да, базовый врач, который направление раздает. У меня никогда... Я довольно много болел в 2020-2021 году. А это как бы ковид был разгар, спокойно проходил. У меня были проблемы некоторые с записью к неврологу, но, справедливости ради, если выбирать не только там ближайшую поликлинику, а выбирать в целом поликлиники по району, то можно было записаться к неврологу всегда в рамках недели. Типа в понедельник записался, до пятницы ты попал к неврологу. Вот. Ну, короче, очень круто.
была бы быть Россия мирной, процветающей и счастливой. Благо у нас идей много. И программа будет. Но есть у меня для вас и хорошие новости. Компанию эту будет вести легко и приятно. Почему? Так именно потому, что это будет кампания против Единой России. Ну хорошо, вот даже сейчас, в 2025 году, есть какие-то искренние сторонники Путина. Это, увы, правда. Кто-то все еще считает, что он спас страну от хаоса 90-х, а кто-то верит, что Путин якобы защищает Россию от НАТО.
Против нас направлена фактически вся военная, экономическая, информационная машина Запада.
Дежурный каждый день принимает без очереди? Ну, в смысле, в очереди, в порядке живой очереди, видимо, без записи дежурный принимает. Не-не, участковому врачу легко попасть в Москве, очень легко.
И, конечно, вовсе не 85%, и даже не 60%. Ну да, не будем... отрицать. Сторонники у Путина есть. Но вот кого точно нет, так это сторонников Единой России. Это партия, в которую собрали всех жуликов и воров. Она не вызывает симпатии ни у кого. Вот вообще буквально ни у кого. Вот посмотрите даже по свежему опросу лживого государственного ЦИОМа. Единой России рейтинг 32%. То есть ЦИОМ сам признает, большая часть сторонников Путина вовсе не поддерживает его собственную партию. Вы сами можете легко провести такой эксперимент. У своих знакомых, кто за Путина, поспрашивайте, как им Единая Россия. Вас ответы порадуют. Никто на вас с удивлением не посмотрит, когда вы будете ругать единороссов. И многие задумаются, когда вы спросите их, за что они голосовали в 2021 году и получили ли то, за что голосовали.
Нет.
Я обращаюсь к нашим сторонникам и ко всем силам, выступающим против Путина и против войны. Давайте потратим ближайший год на то, чтобы всеми возможными средствами вести честный разговор с избирателями, преодолеть цензурные препоны и дотянуться до десятков миллионов людей. Давайте сконцентрируемся на том, чтобы нанести максимальный урон Путину и его Единой России. Давайте сделаем все возможное, чтобы через год каждый в нашей стране знал и чувствовал. Единую Россию никто не выбирал. И чтобы мы показали, что есть другая Россия, не путинская.
То в лаборатории обращаться непонятно какие. То давайте сделаем все, чтобы... Ну вы чего? Я думал, там будет какой-то план, что-то там, типа, давайте вот образцы, ну хотя...
Покорная, не сдающаяся, честная и любящая.
Хотя бы, типа, давайте агитировать за любую партию, кроме Единой России, как у Навального было. Ну, что-то такое.
Свою страну. Я надеюсь и рассчитываю на вашу поддержку. Спасибо.
А что делать, Юля? Я сходил уже, я этот гемостест, заколебал. Я хожу каждый день, прошу анализа Алексея. Они все не раскалываются, говорят, это не их. Ну, не их юрисдикция, что они не скрывают ничего. Я хожу каждый день в эту лабораторию. Каждый день говорю, отдайте анализы. А тут мне что делать? Во все отделения.
Что это за история?
Trump just gave away $1 billion taxpayer dollars as a bribe.
It's well documented that President Trump hates wind power, and we've made a whole short about the petty reasons behind this. He has waged a one-man crusade against their cheap, clean electricity. Last year, the administration tried to stop the construction of 5 offshore wind farms with various stop work orders, but every court case that has followed since has ruled that they should go ahead. In fact, one has just finished construction, and one has already started supplying electricity. But his latest act is on a different level. Total Energies, a French company, has announced that it will be giving up 2 offshore wind leases that it has bought from New York and North Carolina in exchange for a $928 million reimbursement, which they then promised to invest in US oil and gas instead. This deal is a $1 billion bribe to a foreign company made because all the other methods that Trump has tried to stop offshore wind haven't worked. And unless you're an oil and gas executive, you should be pissed about this, especially for a politician who campaigned on America first. This is a huge transfer of taxpayer dollars to a foreign company, all to try and kill a source of electricity that we know works and is cheap and reliable. In fact, right now, as I'm filming this, it is powering over half the United Kingdom by itself. But Trump is instead...
Okay. 4 days left. The Tank 10 song is pretty fun, so I'm gonna maybe pull a bit more. Here we go. Please be 10-10.
Why do I have to do this again?
End up.
Hi there. Oh, you have the rosy scent of beautiful memories, like an incomplete letter destined for a special place. I wonder where that might be.
If I somehow get enough, though I'm not sure that's even possible. Pretty much is impossible.
Still waiting for something? Ciao! Wanna head out for a walk? The colors of the sky look absolutely
Oh, that's not bad. Yay. Wow. So it takes longer to explode. But deals more damage. Well, I mean, gives more energy. So that's an interesting situation.
Still waiting for something?
For her.
Over here, Endman! Oh! Oh!
That is nice. That would be amazing.
Still waiting for something? I offer today's dialogue and contemplation to you.
I'm really sorry.
So I can pull 20.
Choosing to boost the oil and gas industry, which is the prime cause.
This question comes from Jack, who asks, what would happen if I dug straight down at the speed of 1 foot per second? What would kill me first? Today's topic is the reverse of the video, which asked how you'd die if you rose steadily at a foot per second. Digging at the same rate would kill you more quickly. After you get through the Earth's surface layers, temperatures rise pretty steadily as you go deeper, a trend that continues all the way to the core. In some areas where the hot magma is closer to the surface, the ground gets hotter more quickly. The Southern Methodist University Geothermal Lab has produced some superb maps showing the temperature of deep rocks in different parts of the United States. If you look at the map of the 3.5 kilometer layer, you see that at that depth, most of the US is colored a faint yellow, representing temperatures somewhere around 100 degrees C. With one glaring exception. In northwest Wyoming, there's a circle of ground colored bright red where the rock is much hotter than normal. That circle is the Yellowstone supervolcano. The SMU maps for progressively deeper layers showed that even if you avoided digging in Yellowstone, you'd quickly encounter temperatures too hot for an unprotected human. The ground typically gets hotter at an average of about 35 degrees C per kilometer. So at a rate of a foot per second, which as we recall from the previous video is roughly a kilometer per hour, at a 35 degrees C temperature increase per kilometer, you'd encounter lethal heat within an hour or two. But wait a minute. Let's say your hole is about a meter wide. At the rate you're digging, you'd have to remove roughly a half a metric ton of material every second. No human would be capable of lifting the first foot of material out of the hole so quickly, and it only gets worse after that. After a minute of digging, you'd be 60 feet down, and every second you would have to lift that much rock and dirt 60 feet vertically to get out of the hole. The power required to do that lifting just after the first minute would be roughly 100 kilowatts. After 10 minutes, 600 feet down, lifting the rock to the surface would require over a megawatt of power, and after 2 hours, it would take over 10 megawatts, which is enough to heat a metric ton of rock 10 degrees Celsius every second. Even if you aren't doing the lifting yourself, Jack, the way your question is worded makes it pretty clear that you are in this hole. Whatever process you're using requires huge amounts of energy to lift all that rock, and that energy is inevitably going to result in the hole being heated somehow. Even if the layer you're digging through wasn't hot when you started, it will be soon. What if we assume you're protected against both the heat from the ground and the digging mechanism? Well, in that case, the pressure would start to become a problem. As you go deeper, air pressure increases. Below about 15 kilometers, the pressure, not from the weight of the rock, just from the atmosphere above you in the hole, is high enough that oxygen itself becomes toxic. This is something that scuba divers, astronauts, and neonatal intensive care units have to worry about, as they all use either high pressure or oxygen-enriched air. So what if you're protected against the heat, digging process, and the pressure? Well, at that point, we've redefined the rules so much that I'm not sure it makes sense to try to calculate an answer. The question, what would kill you if you kept digging downward, has left the realm of physics and become fantasy. Which, come to think of it, makes the answer perfectly clear.
Как можно чаще именно в оглушении.
Okay.
I warned you before. Don't touch the pressure valve. Do you know how dangerous that was? The incident has...
Alright. That's going to be it for the stream. Good luck, fun, thanks for watching.